Right, okay, so we got Monday's episode of Coronation Street. So exciting this week. I can't wait to talk to you about that one. I know I was a little bit effervescent about this week. I think it kind of went downhill as the week went on, but it always seems to be the way when you have a big episode. It often doesn't keep the hype. I don't know, what did you think?
That's what I was just thinking. I also think there have been more big Mondays. Normally you expect there to be a big Friday episode because, storytelling, has to end on a climax, doesn't it? What?
No, I don't think that Corrie works that way. Like I was saying.
No, I know, but it doesn't mean that I don't expect... Corrie doesn't work in lots of ways that we expect it to.
It's true.
But Monday, I do think quite often when we talk about... Maybe I'm just not remembering it correctly, but it does feel like quite often we'll sit down and go, I thought that Mondays was really good, and then it kind of just, the rest of the week just sort of, was fine.
I think often when they have these big climax of an episodes, they sometimes struggle to hit the landing, and I don't always find because usually a big climax episode then is followed by some sort of police stuff. It tends to be the case, and that doesn't always grip me, and it didn't. And I will admit, actually, I get confused or what was going on today, and maybe it's my age, maybe I've not been fully paying attention to everything, but the whole story with who knows what and who knows that Kit planted the hair and who thinks that maybe Sarah planted the hair, what does Sarah really think? It was just getting a bit muddled in my head today.
Yeah, I know. We latch on to such ridiculous, insignificant details on this show sometimes and harp on about them and then complain they don't get picked up. I bet you anyone who's involved in Corrie listening is thinking, you pair of idiots. Like, you're the ones that are going on about us to do all this stuff, and then we do it and you can't follow a simple plot. But the thing is about Corrie, also, they do stuff like they remind you, like, very simple things that, like, at the beginning of the week, like, I'm just going to drop a line here so that everyone remembers that Doran is my son and Alina's come back.
And the Biz isn't happy about it.
But we never got this. The hair stuff. I've forgotten what the heck happened. There's
a lot of balls to keep juggling in the air.
So Bethany and Sarah were completely convinced that Nathan Curtis was about to attack her, right? He's hanging about, isn't he?
Yeah. And they thought that he bumped off Lauren.
And Lauren was missing, and so she thought that he was behind it.
Yeah.
Bathan and Nethany. No, but Bethany and Sarah, right? So then Sarah or Bethany or somebody else finds the hair that Max had on Lauren's hairbrush.
Yeah, Sarah was going to plant that on Nathan's
van so that the police could find it and link them together because there was no evidence apart from a hunch.
Yeah.
And so Kit found Sarah about to put the evidence in there and stops him from doing it. Takes her away, but then puts it in there himself anyway.
Yes.
And then makes Sarah think that she had done it by accident. Like,
I think that's the bit that I'd forgotten, that Kit had managed to persuade Sarah that she was maybe responsible for it. But
yeah,
from what we see in today's episode, there's a little bit of suspicion now, especially from Daniel, that maybe Kit was involved in doing what he actually did do. I think possibly it's related to the amount of time that we've not seen that bit of the story. Like, we've been trying to keep tracks of what's been going on with Lauren and Dee-Dee and Joel, and the whole Nathan and Kit and the hair in the van side of the story has been a bit, fallen by the wayside for at least, a month or so. But
it is very confusing. I also don't know why Swain hasn't just asked Betsy.
But ask Betsy what?
What's going on with Joel?
Well, we've not seen a whole lot. Let's run through it. But I think that was a little bit of a summary.
Right, this is a preview of us not knowing what the hell...
Yeah, I think this is going to be an episode where we seem a bit like a pair of idiots. You should have watched us watching tonight's episode.
We were sitting there.
We had to rewind quite a few times because I was there trying to take notes on the laptop. You were... Some bits you were on your phone, some bits you were really trying hard.
I was not on my phone.
No, for bits of it you were. And then
No, not these bits.
Not these bits, because you realised it was a bit complicated.
I could understand some man barging into a hotel room to beat up a woman. I don't need to follow every second of that to get what the gist of it. But this was just like, What did they just say? Well, I don't know. Do you have to rewind it again?
I think maybe we've become over-reliant on flashbacks as a storytelling device in Coronation Street. And you know what? The ones that we haven't even started properly recounting their story yet, but the flashbacks that went on, and there were many, many, many flashbacks. Props to Dom in the archive department for getting them all together. And I didn't mind them, and I think I've started to not mind flashbacks, and I'm hating myself for saying this because I've been on the backs of flashbacks complaining that they're not needed, and Corrie's managed to go 60 years without having a single flashback. Thank you very much. Well, mostly. But I quite enjoy that big reveal on Monday's episode where Dee-Dee was putting it all together was fantastic. But yeah, maybe in today's episode I could have done, even if it was not a flashback and a previously on Coronation Street, might have been helpful.
Just even having somebody, because Daniel didn't really know what was going on, but he got it faster than we did. It really being explained to him.
Well, Daniel and Bethany, we haven't seen a whole lot of them recently, and now they've just said, hey, remember us, we're kind of part of the storyline as well. It's almost a bit too many eggs in one basket. Although if you put everyone who's related to this storyline together, it's quite a, for current Coronation Street standards, it's quite a big group of people, isn't it? It's quite a big bunch.
It felt a bit like the day shift and the night shift swapped over this week, because... You had Daisy's back, Ryan's back, Daniel's back, Bethany's back, Sarah's back. And this story had just mostly been Lauren, Joel, Dee-Dee.
Yeah. And don't tell anybody that Bobby's not on either shift on this at the moment.
No, Bobby's on holiday.
Yeah, he's on his holly bobbies, isn't he? Look, we're going to talk about the Deering in the Headlines story first. Deering in the Headlights. Oh yeah, I didn't. This is my new storyline title for this, because he's a little bit in the headlights this week, isn't he? Joel. Now he's got nothing to lose.
He's fallen so far. He's walking around with
he's taking his suit off and everything this week. That's how you know it's serious. Then we're going to have more law-based drama in Tyson Ferrari, and I will, I said this on the short earlier, that it was just
their name was Rory.
Yeah, it would be good. No, I thought that there was just a bit too much of the legal side of stuff. If we had this everything with Dee-Dee and Joel and Lauren and Sarah. Plus, then you had these gangsters coming after Alina today. I just wanted... could have done with a little bit more simple kitchen sink drama in tonight's episode.
I know, was nobody... I mean, well, we had that with Beth and Kirk.
We had a little bit with Beth and Kirk. The Beth gets shirty storyline, although Kirk was pretty shirty in tonight's episode, wasn't he? But there was only about 3 scenes of that. That's going to be our 4th story. We're going to do the Toyah nicks Leanne's boyfriend story next. And finally, there were a few scenes of the Tracy story on Monday, but to be honest, not very much.
Who's more responsible? Nick or Toyah here?
For what?
For shagging and
they've just cuddled, Gemma, remember? Toyah's recovering for a really serious operation. That's all she can do at the moment. I'm not going to get you onto that again.
I'm not going to say anything about it. There's no need to talk about it again. I'm just going to say she is doing very well.
She's recovering well.
Yeah.
From her, she's reality coding her.
Good for her.
Her wellness into existence.
How could I complain about another woman doing it?
Don't just right.
Doing it for themselves.
Deering in the headlights. Then, so it all started off fairly.
Monday was mostly the story, and it was one of the best stories.
It was one of the best episodes we've had in the year.
Yeah.
And we sat down.
They've had some great episodes.
Yeah, we sat down with no idea that this was coming. Our friend Rachel was round. Look, she comes round on Mondays, and as we said, this is what's happened so far. I literally had no clue that it was going to be going from 0 to 100 in quite so fast. And I think that's the reaction that everybody else has got from what I can see on the internet as well. We were all expecting this to drag on until the wedding. 27th of September. It's literally come, 6-7 weeks earlier than we were expecting. And I loved it. But then, as I said, it did kind of peter out after that for me.
I thought that the Corrie is very good at subverting expectations at the moment. I think they're teasing us with these because they just know when there's a big story like that, they say, oh, let's have a wedding. They know we are all thinking, this will be the...
That was 100% what they thought, that we'd all fell for it, and we did.
For it, and there must be like in the writers' room going, they're all going to be
super soap week. Joel's going to get caught out. Paul's probably going to die. We literally said that very thing on our last podcast. I still think maybe that Paul's,
nobody's
got
thinking
that date in his calendar.
About the true victim here.
Who is?
Which is me. Right? Because, and all the rest of my fashion friends, because we're never going to see Dee-Dee in a wedding dress at this, right?
No, well, not.
We were saying, weren't we saying, probably the wedding won't go through, but at least we'll see Dee-Dee in a wedding dress. She hadn't even had a chance to look at him yet.
There were bits this week when I was thinking, if they're going to spin this out for a bit longer, maybe she is going to go back to him.
No, I thought she was going to be like, the only way for us to find evidence is for me to pretend I'm back with Joel.
Yeah, but...
That could still happen. That could still happen.
He wouldn't fall for it. I don't think she'd lower herself.
I know, but I think it would make for some really tense scenes where she's pretending he doesn't 100% believe her and they're both kind of fooling each other but fooling themselves at the same time. That could be quite epic.
She's really been on it. We were just saying in the last episode that we felt that Dee-Dee had been a little bit naive to some of Joel's machinations recently. And he was pulling the wool over her eyes a bit too often, but she was brilliant. She was on it this week, and some of the looks that she was giving, like that, you think that she's great, isn't she? In control when it's me.
I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I really like the scene on Friday where she's with Lauren and she's like, no, don't worry about it, we're gonna get him, we're together, you and me. I like that. I thought that was very sweet, and I like the way she's not holding it against her, even though really technically she could, she's within her rights to be a bit miffed off at Lauren, because Lauren knew that Joel was in a relationship with Dee-Dee.
I don't know if Dee-Dee's actions are the Christian thing to do.
What do you mean?
I think that, her getting her revenge might not be best.
She's not getting revenge. Well, she's bringing him to justice.
I suppose.
That's her job.
Yeah.
What do you think her job is, like serial revenge getter for various people? Vengeance is mine, says Dee-Dee.
Right, look, we're never going to get on to...
She is doing what she is trained to do, which is to go after the bad guys, and I love her for that. Good girl, Dee-Dee.
Yes. So, Monday's episode starts with Swain giving Joel a ring about this Lauren case. We'll get there. She's like, why didn't you mention that you'd represented Lauren once? Because remember, last week's episodes ended with her tapping away on the computer and discovering that he'd represented her last September after she did the salon over. And he's like, I didn't think it was relevant. Dee-Dee, meanwhile, is trying to remember the name of the jewellers on the receipt so that she can Google it. So all this time I was thinking, she's been taken in by Joel. Nope. She's like, I'm going to use this opportunity while he's not about to do it. And she was kind of trying to remember, wasn't she?
She's like,
what's it called? Yeah, but it was a little bit convenient that she happened to remember. I don't think she remembered the actual name. I think she typed in something and then it came up as a suggestion. I don't think this is far-fetched. I don't think it was completely
because don't forget, the original time they found the jeweller's receipt, they were teasing her about it being an engagement ring.
Yeah.
And so that probably would stick in her mind slightly more than just a random receipt from her boyfriend's wallet.
Yeah, quite possibly. But this was a good start to the episode because last week when Joel had said, oh no, I bought the charm bracelet for Maeve, and then Emily sold it straight away, and I was like, has Dee-Dee fallen for that? But straight away Monday's episode starts is like, nope, she didn't believe a word of it. So brilliant. She thinks she's found it and heads off.
She finds the necklace on the website.
She goes on the website and there it is in all its glory. So Ed can see something's bugging Dee-Dee later, but then he's called away to the hotel. I keep forgetting that Ed is like the odd jobman in the hotel, yet still he wasn't there for rescuing Alina today.
Working at the... Why is he like, I'm just an on-call handyman? No wonder the bloody air conditioning never works.
Does the hotel really have that many problems that it needs a resident builder?
Yes, I think it does. Think about when we stayed at the Midland.
Yes.
there were maintenance people working there full time.
Yeah.
Think about how many times the TV breaks, the kettle breaks, there's the carpet, something wrong with that, the radiator drips, the loads of things happen, and there's hundreds of rooms in that hotel.
I suppose so. Although we only ever see one of them. Either that or they're all identical. So, Swain Rooney, which is... who was that? That was Shona's nickname for Lisa, wasn't
and also, later on, does Kit say Swain's World?
Yes, they do. Like that. Fab. So she comes into the cafe and Dee-Dee says, look, do you remember Lauren's necklace?
To Roy.
No, she says that to Swain.
Why does...
Oh no!
Dee-Dee asked
maybe
Swain.
they're in the police station.
No, Swain comes in to the cafe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because Dee-Dee's loitering.
No, this bit I remember.
Waiting for Roy.
Sounding mixed up. Yeah, that's right.
But
Roy's
she says to Swain, "Do you remember this thing about Lauren's necklace?"
And Swain's like, "No."
Well, we never found it. No, it wasn't really important in the end.
I thought, was that what it was? I thought it turned out that Joel hadn't even told her about the necklace.
Who?
Swain. Because Dee-Dee confronts Joel about it later, and she said, "Did you give the police this information?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't hand it to her. I left it on the desk, and maybe she didn't pick it up." So I think, and I'd forgotten about these details. It doesn't matter anymore, particularly.
Sound like we know what we're talking about now, don't we?
I got no idea what I'm talking about. It sounds like he was able to avoid the police finding out about this necklace. I may be wrong. You are welcome to correct me if you want to.
It was mostly Dee-Dee that was banging on about it, right?
Yeah, she was the one that thought, her and Roy, that it was some crucial piece of evidence. But anyway, Lisa's like, "No, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. I don't remember."
But while I'm here, did Joel tell you about me and him having a talk? And she said, not really. He just said he was seeing a client.
Yeah, interesting, says Lisa. So she leaves just as Roy comes back from Scarborough, without a beard anymore.
Forgot he'd gone.
No, it's just his little sabbatical.
He went to see Kathy.
Yeah, Dee-Dee tries to say, "Look, Roy, you remember this necklace?" But she doesn't get too far with him about that.
Well, no, because I think it's...
considering he'd been obsessed with it himself.
No, because I think that Shona or somebody was like, "Don't talk to him, he's tired, he needs to sit down. Yeah. Leave him alone."
Anyway, so she goes off. Dee-Dee...
No, she says, "I asked Joel to tell the police about his necklace.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So then she goes to the hospital to see Frankie.
Yes, she gets chatting to Lauren and she says, "Look, when Joel represented you after you trashed the salon, tell me more about this." And it was a bit weird, don't you think, that Joel never mentioned this to the police when you went missing before? And also, this necklace, Lauren. As soon as Lauren hears about the necklace, she tries to change the subject because she knows that... Now, why did she try to change the subject? I can't remember.
Lauren? Because she doesn't want to talk about it. Because none of this has come out yet. She's still scared of Joel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So she doesn't want to talk about this because Joel's threatened her and she just wants to get to Belfast with Frankie. So she tells Dee-Dee, "Look, don't worry about any of this. Me and Frankie are leaving. We're going to Belfast." And Dee-Dee's like, "Belfast?"
Yeah, and it was kind of around this point I was like, Dee-Dee's going to maybe find out, because there's no way that she could overlook that detail about Belfast when he had the notification being up on his iPad last week. So I was like, I'm ready. I'm waiting for her to find out the whole shebang now. So she goes back to the lawyer's office looking like a total badass. She's like, she's going to catch Joel out on this lie. He comes in, do you want any lunch? And she's like, "Oh, well, yeah, just going to see Lauren, actually." She says she's thinking of going to Belfast. And Joel's like, winces at the mere mention of the word Belfast. But, she doesn't press the issue. She sees that he's been twitched by this, and they head out to the Rovers. And then she says, Swain apologised for calling this morning. She'd rung up earlier on. And she asked me about this appointment and whether you'd asked me about it. What's going on there? What happened last week? And Joel tries to play it off and says, "Look, she's just trying to tie up the loose ends there." And so Dee-Dee then segues into asking about the necklace, and that's when he kind of says, maybe I did, maybe I didn't tell the police about it.
I took it and I left it at the station for her. Who knows what she does with her paperwork.
This was great because this was Dee-Dee figuring out. It was basically confirming to herself that the suspicions that
he doesn't have a plausible explanation for either of these things, and so therefore the fact that he's dodging answering about it just gives her the clues that there's something to dodge, right?
Yeah, but she hasn't suspected the whole story yet, has she?
No,
because later on in the hospital, that's when it all starts to sink into
Well,
her.
before then, Joel has another tantrum in his car, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's like
yeah.
screaming and screaming and screaming, and he doesn't know that Dee-Dee's watching him, and he zooms off down the street, and she's following him like, I can't believe this, man. What is he doing? Like, she kind of looks almost impressed in a very sick way, like, this guy's lost his head.
Yeah, but
And
it's not until they get to the
suspicious.
hospital and she sees him in the baby unit with Lauren and Frankie that she's like,
Uh-oh.
oh. So she hadn't suspected that he was the baby's father, had she? But this was it all kind of...
Well, I don't know what she thought, because she hasn't spoken to anybody, and I don't know what this evidence proves particularly. Like, he's responsible for Lauren going missing. He gave her a necklace. You got to work out from there was some kind of relationship. Men don't buy teenage girls necklaces for no reason.
Yeah, you're right. So she knew about the necklace, but...
What does she think has happened?
Maybe she hadn't just put two and two together about the baby being his.
Well, no,
because
why would you?
She at this
I don't
point
know.
was still under the impression that it was Nathan. Was
Yeah.
she'd been told it was Nathan. She'd kind of put that, she had seen nothing to make her believe that it wasn't Nathan's at that point. But yeah, when she sees them through the hospital door window, she has a bit of a zoomy sound effect moment, and then she realises, oh, so it's him. So, this is when she has all her flashbacks. She goes to the bog, we have a break, comes back, and there she is. And she's having, it's just like an avalanche of flashbacks of things about the necklace, I liked all the little kisses that they had, and then it ended
her
with
kissing him.
Yeah, we ended with him like grabbing his chin to stop a kiss. That was quite nicely done. But
She's just like realising he lied about this necklace. The necklace was an important piece of evidence about Lauren going missing. He's got something to do with Lauren going missing. Oh my God, he's my fiance.
Yeah. So, but when she finishes flashbacking, Joel's there standing behind her.
I just imagine, what are these characters doing while they're flashbacking? Do you think they're plugged into the Matrix? Like they're just like,
Yeah, just staring off into the middle distance. So he's there and he's like, Dee-Dee, are you alright? What are you doing here? And she's like, well, no, what are you doing here? Just passing, apparently. I've got to run. But when he goes to kiss her, she turns her cheek away, which is brilliant. So she goes into the room, confronts Lauren with everything she's found.
Oh, hang on. Before that, she makes sure that he's definitely not there.
Definitely not there. No,
He's gone off somewhere else, so we can freely speak in here. This room is...
Well, it worked on
Fort
me
Knox.
when she and Lauren were there chatting away, and
forgot he existed.
I completely forgot that he was existed. And I can't remember how long it is that they carry on talking. But Dee-Dee starts saying, look,
Well, she confronts her straight off.
Here's
with
the necklace on my phone. This is yours, isn't it? Joel spent £300 on a necklace to give to you, didn't he?
First of all,
he said it was for cufflinks. Then he said it was for Maeve. He lied about this. He lied about that. What's going on?
you jumped in. That's not what I was going to say. First of all, was this your idea? Because this necklace is ugly. This necklace is not worth £300. Is this just one junky thing that he's bought you? Because I'm going to tell you, he buys me junky crap all the time. I hate it, and I can't tell him.
You're not
that
a fan of the necklace?
It's ugly as hell.
Yeah, I can't see you wearing it. I thought it looked quite nice on
No,
time.
it looked horrible.
Oh, all right then.
And I'm going to find out it's somebody's beloved aunt who passed away from the props department who wanted a piece of her special jewellery to be memorialised on
she loved
Coronation Street.
She just wanted it to be on mine.
It does not look like the sort of thing you buy new for £300, does it?
No. Lauren says, look,
Sorry,
she has to admit.
I had to wear it because he gave it to me.
She says, but it was a long time ago. It was before you and Joel were even together. She's kind of lying about that. Then Dee-Dee asks Lauren if Joel is Frankie's father.
No.
She says no at first. Well, Dee-Dee says, look, I've been watching you. You've been looking at Frankie. This doesn't look right.
No, I've been watching you and him looking at Frankie together.
Yeah.
And I can't understand why he's here all the time crying over this baby when I think you guys had an affair, and so therefore it's completely logical for me to think that he is Frankie's dad.
Yeah, and this is when the camera pans to outside, and Joel is there, just kind of going, "Oh my god!" He's pulling lots of faces, isn't he?
He's great. He's a world-class grimacer. Is our Joel? He's always there in his teeth and like.
It's quite funny
because
he
looks like he's about to have his teeth cleaned with a very loud device in the dentist's chair.
Quite often, when somebody just so happens to be coincidentally listening in or snooping round the corner, we say, "Oh yeah, of course they're there. They're listening." So we should have been primed for Joel to be listening in on this.
It's because it was too good.
It was too juicy. What was going on inside the mother and baby room?
So many juicy things that progressed the plot in such a rapid fashion happened at once. I wasn't expecting this to happen because I thought they'd drag it out and then have lots of
it was just
cat
boom,
and mouse
boom, boom.
stuff with Dee-Dee not letting on to Joel that she knew about it, but they just went, nah, we're not doing that. And Corey's actually pretty good at doing this sometimes.
Yeah.
And other times we have to wait for months and months and months for something to happen.
So Lauren at this point has told Dee-Dee, the baby is Joel's actually, but I don't want him to have anything to do with her. With him, sorry. It's my baby, really. That's why I'm going to Belfast. Joel's helping me get away so we can be apart and he can be separate. And he doesn't want anything to do with the baby. And she starts to tell Dee-Dee about how it all started, how Joel was kind. The first time they did it, it was a mistake. And Dee-Dee, this doesn't sit
Dee-Dee's
very well
disgusted.
with Dee-Dee
She's just listening to this, just sick and like contemptuous.
It was such great acting by Shanique and Kate as well doing this. Like,
but then it turns, doesn't it? Because Lauren says one thing that makes everything change for Dee-Dee.
The hurting.
He started to hurt me, and he told me I was brought up not to tell the police because I don't want trouble, and nobody would believe me.
This was the explanation that was given for explaining things a little bit more about why she didn't go to the police after the whole chair leg smashing incident.
Yeah, she said something like, I can't remember. She did explain that, and she explained it. It felt a little too late for me, but at this point, it's one of those annoying niggly things I've just got to put to one side.
I can't remember what she said as well, but she mentions seeing a nurse who was gluing up her head at one point.
I don't know what she said to her.
I think she told the nurse that she was drunk and she fell over and hit it, and that's.
I mean, it's totally plausible. It makes more sense than this evil lawyer tried to kill me.
So I'm glad there was something, but I'd kind of already made peace with the fact.
I don't know why this wasn't
complete sense
said before. I felt like this could have been. Again, I don't buy it completely, but it's as good an explanation as we're ever going to get. And it makes sense in a way. So we're just gonna have to leave it at that. But she's telling Dee-Dee this, and Dee-Dee's now changing her perspective on this, and she's turned from this girl is a nasty piece of work who's stealing other people's boyfriends to this girl is a victim of some kind of crime that Joel has perpetrated against her. I honestly think Dee-Dee would have worked this out a little bit more if she'd been given more time and emotional space between finding out this had happened and and thinking about it. She would have realised and put this together by herself that even if Joel hadn't laid a finger on Lauren the whole time, it was still in a completely inappropriate relationship that she was groomed into having. Do you not think?
Yeah, totally.
Because Dee-Dee's a really sensible and compassionate person, and I don't think she would have spent her whole life blaming Lauren for this. But once the key word, like he hurt me, came up.
There's that, and then that's also with a double whammy, or are we already on to triple and quadruple by now? I don't know. The whole early premature labour thing, because Lauren says, if Joel had been with me there, but I was locked in the flat, and Dee-Dee's like, hang on a minute, did he give you something to make you go into labour? And Lauren's like, no, he couldn't have done that, could he? But then she remembers this soup that he
gave
made
me some
her
really
eat.
gritty soup.
And they're like, so at this point now, they've basically found out the full and whole truth about Joel, all that they need to know, which is why I was so excited about this. Yeah, but Corrie, I think we were kind of led towards thinking it's over for Joel now. So I finished Monday's episode thinking, how's he going to get out of this one?
No, I was thinking, I bet he's going to do what I said all along. Do you remember me saying all along about this? What? It's literally down to Lauren versus Joel.
It really is.
And I said that before. And I said, there's all there is proof of, and you can, listeners, I said this, right? Maybe Michael doesn't remember, but the only piece of evidence that links them together is the baby, and the baby is just a he said, she said about how it was conceived, how he was conceived. So all it proves is there was an affair, an inappropriate relationship, and this was the brilliant thing, because obviously Joel's brain works like mine, because he thought, I'm going to get ahead of this, I've got to go. And we get a shock, don't we?
Yeah, the station.
Dee-Dee and Lauren go to the station and they're waiting to go and speak to Swain about this.
This is another brilliant scene, because you get to the interview room and you see Kit being saying, I feel we're so sorry for you. Tell me more. You sound like you've been such a horrific turn of events. And then the camera's panning. And then it lands on Joel. And it's so he's going there first. This episode was just twist after twist after twist.
And this was another Ian Kershaw.
Yes, it was.
Written. I bet he was just grinning the whole time writing this. But this was great, because Kit is a great character too, to be taking the statement, because he definitely seems like you can't trust women kind of a bloke. Like, I am always worried about this happening to me. Any man can have a false allegation like this made against him. Like, they're just like, what are you up to in your life that you're constantly worried about a woman saying that you've assaulted her?
Well, he's also,
you know what I mean? Like, he's this kind of totally the kind of bloke, he sits around and reads up about this kind of stuff on the internet and then tells his mates.
Well, he's also a bit of a bent copper himself as well. I mean, we know he's involved in these counterfeit clothes thing, which seems very small fry compared to this now. But also, of course, he was the one that planted the evidence in Nathan's van. So to have him now taking this statement,
it suits him. Yeah, it suits him that Joel's saying this, because it still makes Nathan the criminal.
Because Lauren hasn't told Dee-Dee yet, has she, about being bammed over the head? I think
we're just going to have to assume that no, because she said about the bloody head.
Yeah, but I thought I can't remember. I
just assumed that came out. Otherwise, I don't know why she's holding on to it for.
I don't think she's particularly got a reason, has she?
But also now,
doesn't it make more sense for Kit if Nathan is still considered the main perpetrator here? Does he have anything to gain for Joel going down?
Exactly. That's why he's like, I agree with you.
But by the end of this week's episode, when he was in that scene with Lisa in the car, he was saying that we need to make sure that Kit goes down.
Kit?
Sorry, that Joel goes down,
so again, Michael, your lovely nature's shining through here, because you think that because somebody said something to somebody, that's what they really think and are going to do.
Like I said, I just get very confused.
Kit, at the moment, right, listen, Kit's only goal here is to not go down for planting evidence. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really care. That's why he was saying to Lisa, don't worry about the hair, that's irrelevant. What we need to concentrate on is Joel.
Oh, okay, fine.
If Joel goes down, fine, I don't care. If Nathan goes down, fine, I don't care. All I care about is Kit. But I think he's definitely the kind of guy who would side with another bloke over a girl, especially one like Lauren, who's been in trouble with the police before. Mm. So to him, Joel's just telling him a story that he's totally prepared to hear. And, you can definitely say the same thing about Swain being told this story from Dee-Dee and Lauren. Swain's totally receptive to this horrible man took advantage of me, aren't all men horrible? Mm. That, and both of them have a point, but all I would say is it's much more likely that a man's victimising a woman than the other way around.
Well, it very much aligns with Swain with what Betsy's told her as well about Joel in the past.
I just don't understand why she's not spoken to Betsy about this. She's like, just going to walk around and try and find evidence. Just talk to your daughter.
I really want them to find that Ellie girl. I think she's going to be the key. I think we're just going to be there's going to be this cat and mouse for a little while until Ellie comes down from wherever she's in hiding at the moment, and it's like, Joel.
The money's going to run out now because Joel's not working anymore, so he's not got any money to pay off his girls, has he? To get them to stop talking.
Is he paying off Ellie as well?
Well, of course he must be. He gave her money to begin with. If she gets a snifter of this, she'll come asking for more cash, won't she?
I don't know, she didn't seem the type, maybe.
What do you mean she didn't seem the type? She was being bribed.
Well, maybe he's still got
I'm not saying make a habit of this.
Okay, so we got Kit being interviewing Joel. At the same time, Swain's in the soft interview room with Dee-Dee and Lauren.
Oh, this was great. I just love this.
And they're saying, Lauren, you were groomed.
I know. And I said this all along. There's really no... What can you do about either of these things? You can't prove any of this. She doesn't have any evidence. She hasn't kept any messages. There's no bruises. You've got... The only person who knows that there was a bruise was Bobby. And Bobby's not in it anymore.
Bobby's not been in it this week, yeah.
But there's no evidence other than that, and even then...
that's like... It could have been anything.
That's just a bloke who's trying to get in a girl's pants going, yeah, I agree with her. She's definitely not lying. That's not really...
Yeah, I think
evidence.
I did jump the gun, which is why one of the many reasons why police force is not the career path for me. And I thought, well, obviously it's cut and dry case here. This proves that he's the dad, so therefore it proves that he did everything else. But no.
See, this is why I couldn't be a cop either, because I just wouldn't believe anybody. They'd be there with a knife standing over the body, going, I did it, and I'd do it again. I'd be like, no, it's got to be more to it than this. I think something else is going on here. There's a story to be told, but what is it?
So this all comes to a head in the lobby waiting room sort of area.
This was just fantastic.
Yeah, they're the two parties kind of clash.
Yeah.
They probably shouldn't have arranged it so that this happened.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's fun for the soap drama where Swain goes to arrest Joel for everything that Lauren said, but then Kit said, no, well, I need to speak to Lauren because Joel's accused her of taking abortion pills. So because they had this big bit of what they thought was a big bit of evidence of the soup, but really it's all very circumstantial, isn't it? So Joel's been very smart here and said, no, she was the one that took the pills. She was trying to get rid of my baby. She tried to kill my baby. She seduced me. This has to be stopped. Very, very smart.
And then Swain goes to Lauren, okay, we're going to have to question you again.
Yeah. Ends of the episode. We got a lovely little crane shot of Dee-Dee coming home in the car, didn't we? She was talking to Swain over her Bluetooth, wasn't she? And I was like, is she in the car? Oh no, she's just Bluetoothing her. And she
gets home. She gets out of the car.
Off. Ed's there. He's been summoned to the flat by her, and she tells him she's been an idiot, and then bursts into tears in his arms, and then the episode ends. And we are all left thinking, oh my gosh, what is going to happen next?
Well, no, I was just thinking, brilliant. Joel's just been given more breathing room, and there's no obvious end point now. Before it was 27th of September, Joel's probably going to leave then because that's the wedding. It's all going to come out. He's going to leave. He's going to die. He's going to get arrested. Something's going to happen to Joel. But now it's like Joel could go any time. We know he's going to leave because of this story because he's too much of a villain.
Yeah, I still maintain that he's going to be gone by Christmas.
Yeah, but what's he going to do on the way?
The timetable has gone out the window.
Yeah, there's no ticking time bomb here. There's no shelf life.
No. And now he's lost his job this week, which means he's gonna
get a job in the Rovers.
He doesn't need no job. He's got plenty of time for all his machinations. But
he's got to get bribe money.
I still think he's got savings.
The thing about it also is that now he's not got any income. Emily can't go after him for money, so he's got that pressure off his back.
Well, I thought the divorce had all been finalised.
Well, I know, but you can't take... Isn't it based on your income? He hasn't got any income. She's not going to get any money off him, is she?
Mm.
So he's not going to... I mean, I'm sure that there are ways around it, and if he's got savings, she might get some of that. But he's, that's the least of his problems at the moment.
I wonder what his parents would
when are they going to be
this?
Involved in this? I keep expecting them to turn up and go, Dee-Dee, you've ruined our son's life.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to tell them the truth. He's going to tell them exactly what he told Kit. That he was involved in an inappropriate relationship with this horrible chavvy strumpet called Lauren, who got herself up the duff, he's probably going to spin a story about the fact that she lied to him about being on the pill, or she tricked him by poking a hole in a condom or something and got herself pregnant, and then tried to kill the baby, which is going to be their grandson.
So I think that they could be bankrolling him quite nicely, just for the time being.
Maybe they'll have to sell his car.
Oh no. So Joel on Wednesday, we see Swain again. Swain wants to know all the gory details about him and Lauren, but he's sticking to the story that she told him that she'd been looking up drugs that kill babies in the womb.
Was googling pills that induce pee.
You have to mention that every week, don't you? Swain is very much on the ball here and still saying, well, because she catches him out because he says that they were bought online, and then she's like, well, we'll be able to check records, and then he says, well, maybe it was cash, and she's like, you're not sticking to the same story, are you? So he's stumbling. This was kind of the first point when he's been pretty good up to this point at coming up with a very, very plausible story for everything, but she does manage to catch him out in a lie a little bit here, and it's enough to make her realise, I know that he's guilty, I just need to find the evidence to pin something on him here.
Well, yeah, Swain says, we know that this is the particular drug that was used because we found it in the tissue that was recovered from Lauren's placenta, which has been kept at the hospital.
Yeah, she said, hospitals do keep some wombs, you know.
Wombs? They don't take a womb out.
Placentas, you know,
they're like, you're not using this again, are you? We can have this if you don't mind.
We were going to sell it off on the ITV pre-loved site.
Still good.
We got Kate Fitton to autograph it.
Right, she says there's no evidence of her buying this from her bank account, and he tries to say, oh, maybe she used cash, and then Swain's like, well, why would she try to cover her tracks? What possible reason would she have for hiding the fact that she bought this? Because how would she know that this would end up being an investigation if she was trying to induce this abortion and not bring it up?
Yeah.
And he's like,
So this is the point where Swain brings up Dee-Dee, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, I just left it too late to tell her about the baby. That's on me, my bad. And she said, well, that's the first thing that you've said that I believe, actually. He's like, look, at the end of the day, I shouldn't be here. Lauren has said it was Nathan who attacked her, and that's that. He's behind bars for it. There's no evidence that I do it. There was even evidence that linked Nathan to Lauren's DNA. So I honestly don't know what you got me back.
Yeah, basically, his story is, I didn't attack her, Nathan did. I did have an affair with her, and I'm the father of the child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And that's all the evidence you've got. You can't prove I attacked her, but you do have evidence that a known predator has her DNA in his van.
Yeah. So, back at the hospital, we've got Dee-Dee and Lauren, and poor old Lauren is kind of crying her heart out again.
Well, because she thought
she was so close. Well, she thought, we've got him.
But she's also like, this is typical, you know. I trusted you. You told me everything would be alright. I knew that it wouldn't be, but I put my faith in you. And now look, this is what I said would happen. I knew that it was me versus Joel, and no one would believe me.
Doctors are already asking me about the drugs and
did I
taken drugs in the past. They now think that I tried to kill my own son, and Dee-Dee's like, no, it was Joel who tried to kill her son, just like he tried to kill you too. Oh, yeah, we go. So Dee-Dee does know that Joel was the chair attacker. So
that's a really crap name for a serial killer.
Right, so as the episode goes on Wednesday, something that I really appreciated was how we had lots of the residents of the street who aren't really related to this story all getting the goss, and it was where I thought, I could really do with like a Norris type character, but they tried to get it with Brian, didn't they, on Wednesday, and he was going around saying, oh, have you heard the news about Joel? That. And people already got it. I enjoyed it, but he's no Norris.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. Because he was talking to, I don't know if you've written this down, but it was Brian, Kevin,
Ryan,
this happened later, and Ryan behind the bar, and what's his name? Ryan and Brian were talking about it, and then Kevin's just like not really following what's going on. Pokes his head up off the paper and he's going, yeah, that's women then, innit? Can't trust them. Yeah, Dee-Dee's, don't believe a word of it. Like, just being completely flippantly uninterested and taking the wrong side completely out of this whole thing. They're kind of a bit like, what the hell are you talking about? I thought that was fantastic because I've been saying this for ages, that we need characters like that. Like, that was a bit of a Les comment, wasn't it? Like, I don't know what's going on here, but if a woman's involved, it's probably her fault.
Yeah.
And also I'm not interested because I'm reading the paper. Yeah.
You also had Paul and Craig talking about it in their flat as well, while Paul was listening in and adding a few bits here and there. So we had a little bit seen with Max, with Lauren later. Max is saying, look, the fact that you've been willingly living in Joel's flat since you're saying he attacked you, that's not going to be a good look, really.
It's not consistent at all with what she said, but you've seen everything that's happened, and I hope that people understand. I think it's been quite sympathetic to Lauren's predicament. Like, I was mad at her. I do think she's been an idiot, but it's totally understandable how she ended up back in that flat with him there, convincing her. She didn't have anywhere else to go. She's pregnant.
She just was holding on to the fact that if she stays there, that's going to make it easier for her to get away from this place and get to Belfast if she plays along with whatever he wants.
Well, she also thought she had a trump card.
What?
The email. I wonder what was in it.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if she's got that still to show Swain.
Well, she said she deleted it, didn't she?
She's probably stupid enough to have left it in her drafts.
With this, we also have Sarah and Bethany wading in on things in this episode too. They come into the cafe and then they hear Max and Lauren discussing that maybe Nathan isn't guilty after all, which makes,
triggers him.
Bethany goes off on one that episode, doesn't she? She was fairly insufferable, as usual.
I like this too, because
it's certainly within her character to get narky about the very suggestion of the fact that Nathan isn't the spawn of Satan.
No, I love this because she was wrong. She was saying things to the police that were wrong, and she was absolutely convinced of it. And you don't get that very much either in Corrie. Usually when someone's not believed, it's because they're telling the truth and it adds to the drama that we're going to prolong the story by nobody believing you. But here it's like, you are talking crap actually, nobody cares what you think.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that because not everybody knows everything the same as everybody else, and this doesn't happen that much in Corrie. What do you think?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Bethany was just absolutely convinced. She's barking up the wrong tree.
She's just got the blinkers on everything when it comes to Nathan.
Well, she's desperately trying to protect herself too, because if Nathan gets put out of prison, she's got a target on her back.
Yeah, but Dee-Dee was trying to reassure her, because they go back to the lawyer's office, don't they? And Dee-Dee says, look, remember that USB stick that was found in Nathan's van? There was enough evidence in there that's still going to keep him behind bars. Don't worry about it.
I don't know what's going to happen with Nathan, though. Because the thing is about it, if they can prove that was planted, that evidence of Lauren's hair was planted, then his defence could also argue that those USB sticks were planted.
I can't remember whether he had his DNA on those. He might have confessed to them being his already. I can't remember.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's not necessarily a slam dunk that Nathan's going to be kept in prison if they want another twist.
It's been kind of a bit of a shame that we've not seen very much at all of him, for months now.
But do you not think, I still am holding out a tiny little bit of hope, even though it makes no real sense, that there's some kind of secret uber villain, club here that Kit, Nathan and Joel are all involved somehow very loosely with each other, and they're going to team up, or there'll be a secret meeting at the end of The Traitors where they all walk into a room with their cloaks with their hoods up, and then, who are we going to kill tonight, lads? Do you know what I mean? There is still a very slim chance, even though it doesn't really make any sense, that these three are in cahoots in some way, in a kind of, we're all love being horrible to girls. And there's no honour amongst thieves, so the fact that they backstabbed each other and tried to throw each other under the bus at certain points, and not that Nathan, we've seen much of his perspective, but certainly Kit and Joel, and Joel and Kit and Nathan and Joel and Nathan, that doesn't mean that they're not in cahoots at some point.
Aren't Sarah and Bethany saying that Nathan and Joel are in cahoots?
It would be funny if they were, though,
Bethany
not funny, but it would be brilliant.
Bethany remembers the time that the flat was broken into, Sarah's flat, and I think I've got vague memories of this. It was Joel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Joel.
What was he there looking for?
The evidence that she had about Lauren with the credit card to prove that she wasn't dead.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So she was saying, well, maybe that was him. Maybe he's actually madder than any of us realised.
And we were like, yes, he is.
So Joel goes to see Dee-Dee in the flat later. She's absolutely fuming that,
my God, right,
that he's been let out.
Like, okay, can I just say, Dee-Dee, love, get yourself a dog, a boyfriend, a security camera, and a lock. Why do you keep letting this man into your flat and your office? Lock the doors.
It's because she thinks that she's, on top.
She
still is, because he's saying, look, maybe me and you should get back to each other now. And she's like, no way.
I know, but listen, I think she thinks there's no way he's going to kill me or attack me, because that would be the end. Like, he'd get caught. And of course he would get caught. I don't see how he could get out of attacking Dee-Dee, because he'd be suspect number one.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make her any less dead if he does get hold of her.
Yeah, she'll be looking really down on him from up on high.
Going, you're in trouble now.
Yeah.
But I think there will be a point where he will try to kill Dee-Dee. Do you not think this is where this is all going? Every time I see her alone in a room with him, I'm like, what are you doing? You know this man tried to kill his girlfriend and also his baby and his girlfriend again. He's tried to kill Lauren twice now. He didn't care whether she lived or died after taking that pill.
She's still trying to project an image that she's not bothered by him. Like, we even had the scene in today's episode where he comes to the lawyer's office and she kind of sends him off, and then as soon as he's gone, she's like, oh.
That wasn't necessarily her fault, that she should have locked the door. But stop. You can project an image of confidence with your dad in the room. Or, anybody. Or go to the cafe and talk to him. Why should you keep letting him in?
Well, maybe this time it was because of getting this tracker app on his phone, and this is all part of her plan. Because she says, "Look, if you
want me to trust you,
let me have your phone, your personal phone, your work phone. I'm going to check through them and see that if there's anything there that would suggest that Lauren's story is true." And he happily hands them over because he knows that he's deleted any. Was there any evidence on there?
No, there's nothing on there.
No, because he has got his other phone, hasn't he? He knows that there's nothing there. So she heads off to examine them, and she comes back later and is like, I didn't find anything. But this is because she's put the tracker app on it.
Yes. But one thing that we have said, I said ages ago that this would come up, he kind of tries to blame Dee-Dee for all of this because they couldn't have sex. He's like saying, sorry, I was so pent up because we couldn't do anything. And she's like, don't even try this.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's like, there you go. I don't. Nothing. There's nothing on there. I realised, of course, that you wouldn't have left anything on there.
We had a little scene where Bethany's talking to Ryan, and she's starting to wonder why Lauren and Ellie would lie about Nathan being involved in it. But yeah, then we go back to Dee-Dee giving him his phones back, and says, "Oh God."
Well, she says. I didn't find anything on there. I didn't even find the messages that you had sent when you were in a relationship with her. And he says, well, of course I deleted all of that. I didn't want you finding it. And she says, exactly. So there's no evidence on here. It doesn't prove anything. I just want you gone. Leave me alone. You're a liar.
That's it.
Then he says to her, I can't believe you would be so thick to let that scheming little cow deceive you. And she's like, get out, Joel. She gives him all his stuff in a bag.
Yeah, off he goes. Roy's in the hospital later. He's made up with Lauren. So that little falling out they had.
This was
the fact that she didn't come back and stop him from going to prison for so long.
This was another mopping up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of the chaos that was caused by Lauren's implausible disappearance. And she's saying, I'm leaving. I want to get away from Joel. And they're like, you probably shouldn't because everybody can help you and all of your support is here. And then they ask her why she didn't come back sooner, and she's like, I was scared of the police.
Yeah. So Joel's at the police station again later. He says, right, I want to come clean. I didn't tell you everything earlier. And I was like, at this point thinking, what's he going to say now? And he says, look, Dee-Dee she did something very silly after I told her about that one night stand that I had with Lauren, because I definitely had told her about that. She and Lauren must have cooked up these ridiculous allegations against me. That's why they're saying all this stuff. They're in cahoots. It's not my fault. So Swain's like, fine, come and get all this down on tape.
So when he said Dee-Dee did something very silly, what did he mean?
I think it was just cooking up these allegations rather than just, telling the truth. Trying to get him sent down for more than he said. According to him, the only thing that he's done wrong is have a secret and affair. With Lauren.
With the client.
And Dee-Dee's overreacted to this, he's saying. So Bethany sees Lauren outside the hospital later, and she marches up to her and is like, right, I want answers about Nathan. Was Nathan involved with you or not?
No.
And Lauren's like, no, look, Joel convinced me to lie about him. And Bethany's like, no, that's not what I want to hear. I need to know more about this. But then, unfortunately for her, Daniel arrives, and Bethany at this point is getting more and more frustrated. Daniel drags her away from her, basically.
Well, she's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Poor Lauren.
I can't believe that Nathan's got nothing to do with this. He was here. Her hair was in his car. He's like a serial abuser of women. She was groomed, she was attacked and left for dead. How could it not be Nathan? This makes no sense. I totally understand why she's so frustrated. And that's kind of like half of the delight in watching her, because she's just wrong. Yeah,
absolutely. So Dee-Dee's in the ward with Lauren and Frankie later, and this is where she
tells Lauren that Joel's told them that we've been cooking this up together. Swain doesn't believe it, but it's not going to work out necessarily for us.
Yeah, but this is when she reveals that she's put this tracking app on Joel's phone, so they can at least stay a few steps ahead of him.
What did you call it? You called it a lawyer locator.
Yeah. I do. It's quite funny when they just reference this generic tracker app on Coronation Street, and it did, just looking at the graphics that they've put together for it, look a little bit on the simple side.
You also had brief encounterer.
Oh yeah, the brief encounterer. How do you find your lawyers?
Daring detector.
Yes.
Are there things you can do this? I know you can hide an air tag on somebody's car.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe, but. I wonder where it feels like the sort of thing that if it's on Joel's phone for long enough, if he hasn't found it, and it's not like she's going to just put the apps there on the front page that when he looks on his phone.
Could on my phone,
it's going to be hidden around somewhere. But it feels like it's the sort of app that eventually he's going to get a little notification that says, this app has been tracking your position. Are you still happy to allow this at all times? Location. So I'm wondering,
he'll find it somehow.
Yeah, I think he will do. I'd quite like there to be a scene where maybe we don't realise that he's found the
and he gives
it
to somebody else.
He gives it to someone else to take away somewhere, but actually he's sneaking about.
There are so many great story opportunities for this tracker to, like, is the tracker going to be something that, maybe at some point Dee-Dee's kidnapped by Joel and taken somewhere, and they have to track her down using this tracker. Is he going to palm it off on somebody else and sneak up behind them?
Yeah, because I don't want it to just be used the way that Dee-Dee intends it to be used, which is just knowing where Joel is. And I also
don't want it to be, I found the tracker and then I'm going to attack you. And she's like, no.
So today's episode, then, we get Swain talking to Sarah because she wants to know more about
Swain goes
about the van situation.
Sarah and says, Sarah, do you remember what you did about this hair? And Sarah's like, not really. Can you remind me, please? And then Swain says, no,
I haven't got time to remind you or the audience what happened. Just tell me what happened. She says to Sarah that Nathan is still insisting that she planted this hair in his van, and Sarah's like, no, honestly, I didn't. And she doesn't But at this point, does she think that maybe she accidentally put the heroin
I don't know, but she's still lying about a lot of it because she's not saying like, yeah.
I was going to.
I found, she's like, oh, how would I even get it anyway?
Yeah. So she's definitely hiding something there. But Swain's like, do you think Lauren's telling the truth about Joel? And Sarah says, no, I think that she's scared of Nathan and she's making it up about Joel. Yeah.
Which I really like. I think this is such a great idea for a story. To using this old villain to come back and cause trouble and have Sarah and... I mean, honestly, 99% of the time in Corrie, they'd be right that Nathan is actually the secret mastermind behind this and attacked Lauren and Joel's got nothing to do with it. But this one time, it's not actually what happened.
I remember if I just cast my mind back 3, 4, 5 months ago and we were like, oh, it's Nathan. Nathan's definitely the one. And then when he turned up, we were like, aha, it is him. But maybe actually, he's just being used as a little fool guy for Kit
well, maybe it is
Joel
Kit
at the moment. Who bloody knows? Right, so Sarah tells Daniel what's happened when she gets out of the station and says, look, please can you stop Bethany ranting on about Nathan? I just want the police to forget about this whole
it's like, if she can shut up about this, I'm going to get away with it, but if she doesn't, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it's going to look like I did it, basically. So can she just be quiet about it, please? And he says, I'll try.
Like, I don't think so.
Do you know your daughter? I can't get shut up about anything. Swain and Kit are chatting about Sarah later, and Swain says, look, I believe her, but I also think that Nathan's been set up by somebody. And Kit's like, this is the bit where Kit's saying, don't worry about that. We just need to get Joel off the street.
Yeah, because he's like, that's a red herring, really. And he's kind of right in a way.
I'm trying to remember again. Why did he even?
Because he's bent for justice. Because he thought Nathan had done it, and he was like, "Let's just get him cleared up."
Was there ever a bit of a romantic frisson between him and Sarah, or was that just fan theory that
this was because he was being made a fool of by Swain at work. And Swain was like, you're not, he had this kind of inferiority complex.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And he wanted Swain to take him seriously and respect him. And he thought he could do that by getting Nathan off the streets and finding the evidence. So he put the evidence in there, and now he's coming back to bite him in the bum.
Right, okay.
So he always thought that Nathan was really the guy that did it. But he... Just like in many other true crime cases that happened in real life, the police set up somebody who actually turns out to be guilty of something else, but because they planted evidence, they set up the whole thing wrong.
I listeners, if there's anybody listening out there,
we need a flowchart.
I just need somebody to say, yes, Michael, it is a bit complicated. You're not thick. There's a little bit. There's a lot of too many threads here that you have to. A lot of plates that you need to keep spinning and things that you. I'm lost. I'm really lost.
Well, then you can never ever complain about fair storylines or any kind of boring bog standard soap chuff, because you don't need to have that explained to you more than once.
I just don't.
When it becomes too complicated.
It's too policey.
Yeah, it's policey. I don't think anyone would argue.
Even having the scene where Swain and Kit were sitting in the car there, talking about, they were referring to Joel as Deering.
Yeah.
Rather than...
And yeah, Lisa Swain was using everyone's surname. Like, she was like, oh, we just need to sort Curtis out. I was like, he's Curtis.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan Curtis.
It just feels a bit too far removed from what Corrie should be.
But this is what happens when you hire a copper as your main... Instead of having... So, with Craig, he was a character that became a cop. But Lisa Swain is a cop that became a character, and you can't take the cop out of her.
Yeah.
It's really weird as well. I still don't really think of her as being a regular character, because she just is just doing cop stuff the whole time. In
a very police-heavy kind of season of Coronation Street.
She's not doing, like, cop stuff like... that used to be in the bill, like shagging in the cupboards and stuff.
I do hope that we haven't seen the last of some of the other detectives, like Abney and McKinnon, but I've got a sad feeling that they've all kind of been sidelined or sent away to another police station.
Is Swain going to be a cop the whole time she's in the show, or is she going to do something heroic and either end up, hurting her leg, and so she's got to be discharged for medical reasons, or like, you're a maverick, Swain, we can't have you on the force anymore. You're going to be demoted. Like, like Toyah was, she was a counsellor.
I would take any excuse for her to not do policing.
But she's so intrinsically a police officer. I can't see her doing anything else.
I just need a break from the wall to wall. What's the police story this week? That interview room. It feels like we can't go a week without having someone being questioned for something in there. We're seeing are we actually seeing that police interview room more than the Rover's return?
Oh, yeah, probably, and more than the medical centre, more than the hospital.
God, yeah. Easily.
I know, but at the moment in Corrie, everyone's either in the hospital or in the interview room doing a crime. Do you not think so?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Or they're having a cup of tea somewhere. They don't do anything else, do they?
Alright, okay, so Daniel goes up to Kit.
Great.
And we were talking when Rachel was round on Monday about how tall Kit was, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because there was the scene where she was like, is he really tall? Because he was standing next to Ryan and Ryan was actually just sitting down at the time.
I think Ryan was leaning, but we were like, no, he's just leaning.
And then
but he wasn't actually that much difference when Ryan stood up properly.
Yeah, but we had that great line from Daisy. Was it Monday or Wednesday? I can't remember. I think it was Wednesday, where she says, he's too tall, he gives me a crick in my neck.
Yeah, I've said this before.
But then this scene here was Daniel, who is quite a high guy himself, and then Kit is towering over him. He's dwarfing poor Daniel, who's saying, right, you need to... Because Daniel at this point is saying, look, you need to do the right thing, because I think he's clocked that Kit is most likely planted this hair. And Kit's like, no, want me. Swain was only interviewing Sarah earlier so she could rule out the possibility that Nathan's telling the truth. If you don't back off, if you don't stop slandering me, then, Sarah might end up in the firing line, so I'd keep it stum if I were you.
Yep.
Emily comes round to visit Dee-Dee next.
Emily's like, I've got another personality. I found another one.
This is all part of Dee-Dee's revenge on Joel, isn't it? We didn't see a whole lot of her. Basically, Dee-Dee is just trying to...
Well, she just goes, have you heard all this gossip?
Two things from
What's he done now?
Two things from Dee-Dee on Friday. Number one, she phones whoever it is that's in charge of Joel and says, have you heard what he's doing? So she manages to get him sacked. And this one, which... he's been a bad man, but come on, this is a
no. All she does is give Emily pertinent information, and Emily makes a decision for herself.
But Dee-Dee recommends. She says, "Well, I don't know whether you want Joel to see Maeve anymore."
She says, "You know what he's done, right? He's tried to kill. He's tried to kill his own baby and also the girl that was pregnant, right?" And Emily's like, "Oh, that's bad, isn't it?" And then she says, you shouldn't let him see Maeve. And then Emily says, but he's her father, just like he's Frankie's father. She is in danger.
Dee-Dee is just in danger of being a little bit too big for her boots and a bit cocky here.
Well, that's why she was so scared when he came in.
Yeah. Because
if she gives him nothing to lose...
It's a bit woman scorn situation,
No, I don't think so. I think she's right to tell Emily, and I think that she's right to warn her that Maeve's in danger. But, like I just said...
She's doing it for herself, though,
Well, partly, but... she, like I just said, if she gives him nothing left to lose, then he's got very little reason not to attack her and try to kill her as well. Because what's he going to have left at the end of this? No kid, no job... No reason to wear a nice suit.
Yeah. Daniel goes and sees Sarah and says what went down with Kit. Says, look, you probably need to drop this. Was Bethany involved later with
Bethany
this?
wasn't there. She was in her room sulking. Apparently she's not working anymore. She's just sulking.
Yeah, so the last scene of this story in the episode was Joel coming into Dee-Dee and saying,
well, hang on, let's just explain. Dee-Dee's sitting at her desk and then her phone goes bleep and she looks at it and it's the deering detector and it says he's coming near you and she panics and for some reason she puts a jacket on. I assume that she's got like a knife or a gun in there or something. No, she doesn't. She puts a jacket on and then she kind of like prepares herself and then he comes in and confronts her and says all this stuff, you better watch your back and all this, I'm really mad at you. You're going to regret everything.
The only thing that the police can prove is that I slept with Lauren.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a very high chance, actually, that I'm going to be walking away out of here free one of these days. And when I do,
you're in trouble.
Better watch your back.
And then she sends him on his way, but as soon as he closes the door, she's just like, oh my God, can't believe it. She's bricking it. She really needs to take some more precautions than putting a jacket on and not locking the door.
So what do you think's going to happen next?
Where's Adam?
Yeah, where is Adam?
Adam should be in there going, get away from my lawyer. Like that.
I've got no clue where this is heading next. I wasn't.
No, I know. I love
wasn't
it.
ready for this week.
Joel's gone rogue now. He literally has got nothing to do except spend all of his time plotting about what to do about Lauren and Dee-Dee. He's gonna get his revenge on them somehow. He's gonna wheedle his way out of these charges. I don't think he's gonna end up getting his job back. I think he's going to try to go after custody of Frankie.
But he doesn't want that.
He doesn't care. He just wants to get them upset. He wants revenge.
Or does he just want a quiet life?
He also wants to win.
Shake?
He wants to win. It doesn't matter what the prize is. Somebody's taken something off of him. Like, in reality, he probably would much prefer Emily, Maeve, Dee-Dee, Frankie, and Lauren to all bugger off and leave him alone so he can start again somewhere else. But because he didn't choose that, because he's not the one in charge and control and making decisions, he doesn't want it to happen. So he wants to he's going to want to get revenge.
He's also lost face and been a bit embarrassed when he tried to get back with Dee-Dee on Wednesday and she threw it back in his face. But yeah, this tracking app is going to hopefully cause a few bits of drama.
Of the tracking app in Alien.
Tracking up in it. I haven't seen it.
Also, it reminded us of the trollop tracker.
Reminded us of Jenny's trollop tracker. I can't believe that Jenny's missed out on all the gossip this week.
She'd be loving this.
She'd be in her element with her collecting rumours that went down this week. Do you think that Nathan's gonna end up walking free at the end of this? I do kind of hope that we've not seen the end of it, or the end of him. But I wouldn't mind it for a bit of drama, but I don't think I could deal with Bethany whining about it. Bethany's
become insufferable, and it's a shame. But I said that when she came back that she wasn't my favourite, and I didn't really get the appeal. And it kind of has proven my point, and I was happy to give her another chance, but I just don't particularly like her.
It's funny, compared to lots of other stories with a big bad, which I usually want to just go on and on and on. Like, I wasn't ready for the end of Stephen, and I was never ready for the end of Phelan. With this one, I feel that I am. And I don't know what the difference is. I still kind of stick to what I said a few weeks ago about this being a story that involves too many new characters. Characters that I'm not super invested in. And then some of the characters that I'm a bit more invested in, like Bethany, aren't really...
showing themselves in glory.
No. So I think I was a little bit disappointed that the early reveal on Monday is clearly not leading to an early resolution to the story.
At all. I love this. I think this is great.
And when I had in my mind that it was going to be over by the end of September, I thought, that's long enough. So I like that. I don't know, but I don't need this to go on past Christmas.
Bread sauce for Christmas. It's back on the menu.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty fine.
This is just great. I love this. I'm sorry.
Did you not feel... So where I'm kind of saying it went downhill after Monday, are you not feeling that?
Not like... It wasn't like a 10 to a 1. It was like 10 to like a 6 for me.
Oh, well, maybe that was about the same.
But I'm still loving... I just love that he's like, I'm not down and out. You haven't got me yet. I'm gonna get away with this. Because he would in real life.
I usually also do take the villain's side on these. I'm like, yeah, go Phelan, go Hillman, go Stephen.
Right.
But I'm not here. I'm totally on Team Dee-Dee here. And every time that she gets one over on him and does a little like, ha ha ha, I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. When I'm not used to that.
Yeah, I will say this is the first big bad that has had an adversary who I actually like and want to succeed, because before we had Anna versus Pat and she brought him down. I didn't like it. And then with Stephen it was bloody Tim.
That is very true actually. Quite often with the big bads they put them against people that were like in the back of our heads, we're like,
just kill him,
oh whatever,
just kill them too. Whereas this is like Dee-Dee. I love Dee-Dee. Like when Joel came into the lawyer's office today and she was by herself, I was like, imagine if Joel kills Dee-Dee. He's gonna try.
Well, we are in a bit of unknown territory for Corrie, or unusual territory for Corrie, where they're springing a few more surprises on us, a few more Bayek moments. I mean, we have, and the fact that it came so soon after Monday when we were all blindsided, it could have happened.
I know, I was thinking
and that's the state that we should always be in on Corrie. It's not always going to work. Like, you know, in the Tyrone story today, when old Heavy burst into the hotel room and roughs up Alina, was anyone seriously worried about Alina there? I wasn't, even though we'd suggested that maybe she's going to be 6 feet under at some point so that Tyrone can be left holding the baby. I didn't think that she was in any danger, and I was right. Ronnie comes in and saves the day. But
definitely that story now.
Soaps should keep me on the edge of my seat a little bit more often than they do, so I very much appreciate it.
This is just a great story.
It did.
Sorry,
for part of this.
But I love it. Right, we've done all this. Done.
Right, so the Thai Sun Ferrari, and it was such a Ferrari this week. Do you want to take the lead on this one? We kind of ended up sharing that first story, didn't we?
All right, you do this one.
No, you do that one. It's fine.
Well, Doreen is still adorable.
I like how Alina's pronouncing his name. It sounds like Doreen.
She's like, Doreen. Yeah, no one is saying it like she's saying it, and I wonder whether she's like, I don't know why you're calling him Doran. His name is Doreen.
It's not Doran to rhyme with Lauren.
Yes.
It's Doreen to rhyme with Eileen.
Yeah, or Saurine, my favourite bread.
Doreen's having her Saurine.
Yeah.
That was an advert from the 90s.
Yeah. But yes, they're not.
You still haven't seen last week's Corrie, have you? We haven't had the opportunity.
I wasn't gonna watch it because I'm already confused about some of the things that happened this week, and I thought if I add an extra lot of new episodes I haven't seen in the middle of this, it will only confuse me.
Right. So you still haven't seen the brilliant Doreen ad-lib from the hotel room, but we were spoiled for choice of classic Doreen moments this week. He's the most adorable kid.
He likes pears.
Like, up until this, so take it or leave it with some Corrie kids for me, honestly. Bertie was brilliant. Loved him. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him. Even the quads have their moments sometimes, not so much. Alfie, he's not done enough to endear himself to me yet.
Not even being Imran's kid's good enough.
No, but Doreen, I'm just finding
stars of tomorrow.
He is a star, but he's also he can't shut up, can he?
He's got no idea.
And I am actually sometimes finding it a little bit difficult to keep track of the dialogue that's going on between the other characters, because
don't want to miss a second.
I don't want to miss a second of Doreen, but sometimes I'm trying to listen to Fizz and Tyrone or Evelyn, whoever it is, and I can't catch everything that they're saying because of Doreen babbling on in the background.
But that's more realistic.
That is totally more realistic. So this week we had there was the scene where he was at the play park and he was telling everybody what colours all the bits are. He's like, this is yellow. And then today he decides to attack the fruit bowl on the dog's table.
He's like, why have you got a load of plastic fruit in here? This is rubbish. I was just looking for something to eat.
That is totally plastic fruit. Imagine if he'd have taken it and just started tapping it on the table. This is plastic.
Chunking out of it.
Giving the game away, Doreen.
Shut up, Doreen.
But can I just say props to Alan and Jenny and Maureen for playing along with it. And there's been a few times where he's clearly said stuff this week that
they weren't prepared
it's unscripted because he doesn't have a script, he can't read, and they're kind of managing to respond to him, but also keep going with what the script is telling them to say.
They always say never work with children or animals.
Yeah. I love him. He's really, really adorable.
He's very adorable. He's got lovely chubby cheeks.
Yeah, I don't know what Hope's problem is.
She's going to set fire to him, I think.
I do wonder, like, the end of this episode is Doran's completely safe now.
I know.
Because
what
the goons don't know where you live. He's in protection here. I'm like, Hope is going to be setting fire to Doran's bed before the end of next week.
I know.
Like, she's the real danger here, not the Romanian traffickers or whatever they are.
The Romanian heavies break in, and it turns into an episode an episode which is based on Home Alone with Hope fighting them off. Only at the end, instead of to save the baby from their clutches, she just chucks them out the attic window. I'm killing
this baby.
Yeah, you're not. It's kind of be a bit like Addams Family Values with Wednesday trying to
poke a pubert.
Yeah, pubert. That was great. I love that. Okay, enough about my favourite film of all time.
It's not.
On Monday, Hope is not interested in seeing Doran when Alina arrives, and she doesn't want to talk to him either. And she's like, "Mother, we need to go." And
that was great.
That was great. Rushes Fizz out so they can go.
Yeah, she is chewing a wasp all week.
Yeah.
Alina tries to chat with Hope, doesn't she? And Hope's not having. Yeah, that with Mother, we need to go.
This is absolutely how you would be if you're her. Because this woman's come and wrecked your life once, and now she's doing it again.
Well, it ties in with Hope's feelings towards her the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
She was on the street.
Ruby is much more forgiving, and she's besotted with Doran, isn't she?
Yeah. I'm still a little bit disappointed the amount that they're underusing Ruby at the moment. It's been a whole year now.
It feels weird that they recast her.
Yeah, has been in the role. And I know that, if Macy Allaby wanted to leave last year, or she was told to, or whatever happened, they had to get somebody new in. But usually when they recast a child actor, they'll start giving them some meaty-ish stuff straight away, and Ruby's had really zilch to do. And Hope, by Ruby's age, I mean, there isn't a huge age difference between them, and Hope's been having meaty stuff to do for 5-6 years at least.
Yeah, but there's also what you're asking for here. There's only so much time, and also there's already criticism about how much focus there is on the younger characters. At least this is a story where, Doran and Hope are in an adult story. It's not a story about them.
Yeah, it's still just feeling to me a little bit like Ruby's in the family, so I suppose we'd better have her in this scene then, rather than offering anything useful to it.
Listening to tapes upstairs. She could have just been watching YouTube for a few years.
She could have been, but...
Right, anyway.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're going to get a proper Ruby story. She is 100% old enough, and I think capable enough, to have her own little mini story now.
Wow, it's a shame they killed her mum off then, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Don't know why they did that. Right, so Alina comes to pick Doran up, and she gets a silent phone call from somebody, and she tells Tyrone it's the third time it's happened. She thinks it's the gang trying to intimidate her, and she doesn't want to tell the police because she's scared it'll make it worse. But when she goes upstairs, Ruby tells Tyrone she thinks it was Hope. So when they leave later, Tyrone tells Fizz about this and then directly asks Hope whether it is her or not. And she says, no way. She gives him the phone for him to check. And then she says, I haven't done anything, you psycho. And storms upstairs when he actually does check to see.
Do you think that Tyrone was out of order accusing Hope there?
I thought it was her as well.
Should he have thought it was her first? Oh, you thought it was her, did you?
I was like, I think it's Hope, and then they suspected her after that. But she's mad because he did look on her phone, and
a lot of people checking other people's phones this week.
Yeah, and then Tyrone says, well, if it's not Hope, then we have to report this to police because Alina could be in danger. And this is Fizz, like the beginning of Fizz's nightmare, that she predicted all of this would happen, that Tyrone would get his head turned and spend too much time worrying about Alina and not enough time worrying about his own family. And it's already started, and she's only been around for a week.
Yeah, she's still. I feel so bad for her. And Jenny McAlpine's been brilliant.
That's sweet. And Tyrone's really doing himself no favours because on Wednesday he's giving money to Adam and lying about it. Fizz says, "Why is this 250 quid come out of our bank for?" And he says, "Oh, I had to get something for Kevin for the garage, and he's going to pay me back." And he then tells Kevin this, and he says, "Tyrone, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to stick up for you if she asks me. I'm helping you out by telling you stop lying about this."
I think that if this wasn't a soap, I could kind of get how Tyrone might think he could get away with this.
All right, get away with it. But on the other hand, all he had to say to Fizz was, I've taken money out of the account to talk to Adam about my legal situation regarding Doran. Because although his plan was to see if he could get custody and stop her from leaving this is just another lie that would come out anyway, but he does need legal advice. He didn't have to go into so much detail about what it was for.
Yeah, obviously he was just there to cause a little bit of marital strife.
The real problem isn't that he took £250 out, it's that he took £250 out, lied about it, and was using it to try to get custody of Doran and stop Alina from taking him out of the country, which is not what she wants to happen.
No.
So, Tyrone is in the precinct with Doran and Alina later, and she tells him that she's told the police about the calls, and then they start talking about Doran, and he's talking about football and he's going to miss him, blah blah blah. Then at lunchtime, Fizz is like, what about this money? Ask Kevin to give the money back. And he says, okay, right, I have to admit to you that it's actually to do with the lawyer money. And she's like, you and Alina are going to get back together again. You're getting closer to her. It's going to screw up Hope's life. And
but she's also saying that Alina's going to go nuts when she finds out that Tyrone's been...
Yeah, she's not wrong.
...talking to Adam about trying to... What was it called? A steps prevention order or something. He was going to take out against her.
Yes. And he says, look, I'm not going to abandon my son. No matter what happens, I'm not going to let him be abandoned like I was. So, in the pub...
You had two mothers, Tyrone. That's double the amount that most of us get, so come on.
In the pub later, Tyrone is talking to Kev about how hard the Fizz is finding this and that he can't lose another son. But meanwhile, we see Alina's being spied on in the Chariot Square bar by some kind of evil man.
some kind of evil man.
He didn't have an accent, did he? Or did he?
No. I think he was. It would be great. I think he was representing.
He was a locally
nail bar traffickers.
Locally sourced goon.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that. You know, they always say that immigrants come and steal our jobs, but they're not. They're employing people in this country to beat up people for them. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's giving back to the economy.
So you can find them in the phone book. You just look, or the yellow pages, just look up G for goons. Yeah.
I'll have to try it, won't we? I don't think I've touched the phone book in about 10 years. So on Friday, Evelyn comes downstairs. Fizz is upset because she's just like, this is all going wrong. I knew this would happen. As soon as Alina came back, all the secrecy, all the sulking, all the hope. I don't think she's actually in danger. I think she's just hamming it up. And Evelyn says, look, just put your trust in Tyrone. He's not stupid. He's not going to risk losing you again.
I love the relationship between Evelyn and Fizz and Tyrone, because when she first came into it, she was quite anti-Fizz, wasn't she? But she says, I can't remember, she's like, Tyrone's not daft. Well, yeah, he is daft, but he's not stupid. And she will always take the side of whoever she thinks is right. And
I think she takes the side of the family.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
And it's normally Tyrone that's jeopardising it. So she's always like, family stability, keep together, whoever's causing the problem, I'm going to focus on them, you know. So she's normally taking Fizz's side just because Tyrone's an idiot.
But she doesn't try and stir up arguments.
No.
She's just tries to keep the peace, you're right.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
She doesn't want to see them fall apart.
I'd be great at stirring all this. I'd be like, Fizz, don't you think that Tyrone's just taking a few liberties here, do you think? And then I'd be like, Tyrone, can you believe that Fizz doesn't want this cute, adorable child to come with his pear? He loves it. He's great. We should keep him. What do you think? Right, so Hope's mad when Tyrone suggests that they look after Doran, and she's like, no, not having any, not helping you. Then Alina comes around, and she is, she says, we've got a couple of days, the verdict will be read then, and then we'll go back home. So, and then Tyrone's being nice with Doran, and she's like, oh, so lovely, it reminds me of when we were together, and he'd be nice to me.
Yeah, she's
melting a bit, isn't she?
Yeah.
So, Tyrone's got Doran in a little playpen in the garage, and like, Evelyn walks in like, what are you doing? Like, stop, look, leave this kid alone. He's going back to Romania. And you're breaking Fizz's heart. You need to listen to me, and you need to put your daughters and your family. You need to put them first.
Do you have any sympathy with Tyrone here?
Yeah, I do. I love this story because I'm like, I can totally see both sides of this.
Tyrone's a big soppy teddy bear, and of course he's going to want to spend time with his child.
How could you not?
Exactly.
It's adorable.
Especially one as adorable.
Even if he wasn't adorable, you'd still be like, this is my flesh and blood. Like, I didn't know that I had a son. I can't let him go again. Because he loves kids. He loves having a family. He's always wanted a family. And all that stuff about him when he was a kid not having a family.
Yeah, especially if he's thinking it's quite possible that I've only got him for a few weeks and then I'm never going to see him again, or maybe I'll get 6 monthly visits. I think
I feel bad for him, but equally, if I'm looking at Fizz thinking you're right here because Tyrone is an idiot. He is going to put Doran. Doran's going to take equal weight to the rest of his kids, and that's true. That's how it should be. And really, he should be taking priority over Fizz, because when you have kids, they come before even you and your partner. So now Fizz has got this child in her life that represents everything that went wrong with her relationship. She's not heartless. She was, I'm sure she thinks that Doran's cute too. And she certainly would never want to see him, out on his ears, and he would, obviously, if Tyrone was the kind of guy that would neglect him, it wouldn't be the guy that she fell in love with. But all of that to say, Doran is still a massive wrench in her life that was ticking along quite nicely, actually.
Yeah,
she's been promoted at work.
They're all stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, all of her kids are growing up. Maybe Hope's a bit of a handful, but nothing bad's happening. And then suddenly in comes Alina, like, hello, did you miss me?
This is very nicely plotted drama that fits perfectly with their personalities.
Yes.
And there doesn't seem to be a perfect solution, apart from, I'm afraid to say, Alina getting the chop.
Alina dies, yeah. We're waiting for it to happen.
I don't want to see Tyrone separated from Doran now. That would suck. I love Tyrone, and to think that he has to be a remote dad, I'd hate that idea. But equally, I don't like seeing him going back and forth between Alina and Fizz, and Fizz is doing her best here, but
she's trying really hard.
She's trying really, really hard. I wonder whether she's going to snap. I wonder whether...
Maybe she'll kill Alina.
I hope that this doesn't happen, but could this lead to her kind of straying?
Oh God!
I don't need that, and I would like to think that Fizz doesn't.
Who would she end up with?
Although, Kirk, he's a bit up on the rocks with Beth at the moment, so could Fizz seek solace in the arms of a former lover with Kirk? Would she lower herself to that, maybe?
How about this then?
What?
She's at home with Doran one day. Everyone's gone out. Knock, knock. Hello? Hello, it's me. I am Alina's friend. Just a big goon man from Romania. She said I had to pick up something that she left here. Are you sure? Yes, she told me I have to come to help Doran. Are you sure you're not here just to kill Doran? Oh, I feel bad. I'm so terrible at being a goon. I said I didn't want to do this. Come in and talk to me about it. Next thing you know, Tyrone walks in, Goon and Fizz on the sofa getting it on.
Oh my God.
Because she's the only one who can see inside his gruff exterior, that the warm, gooey heart inside. He's like, Doran actually really good kid. Maybe we go to Romania together, Fizz. What do you say? Take Doran with us? She's like, yeah, actually, screw this place. I'm off.
I don't like that at all. Sorry.
It's just an idea.
No,
you don't like my pitch.
I don't know how I want this to end. I think I need Alina to bugger off.
Isn't it convenient
to come
have a dead young mother again?
Yeah.
The Dead Mother Society of Weatherfield is about to welcome its newest member. No, I don't want to be a dead mother.
The worst outcome of this for me is Tyrone and Fizz splitting up, and that family who represent to me. They were talking about blended families.
Yeah.
This was Tyrone and Evelyn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they're still, in some weird way, one of the closest things that
weird.
they've got to a 2.4 children family.
It's not weird. It's but I know what you're saying.
There aren't very many parents and young children families on Coronation Street.
Related to at least one person.
Yeah. So I want them to stay together for stability's sake.
I tell you what I don't want to happen, and that is for Alina to just every so often rock up and then they're like, oh, Tyrone, can you look after Doran for me? I'm going to get blah blah whatever. And then it just ends up co-parenting, and then we have scenes with Alina or Tyrone and Fizz, and we have to know, where is Doran? Doran's being babysat by the other lot. I don't want it to turn into a boring child custody arrangement storyline that just has to go on for another 10 years because Doran is in it and so is Alina, and they're just, and I know that was actually the nicest thing that can happen in real life, but in the show, when you get children of a certain age in Coronation Street, almost every scene a character's in without their child, they have to explain where the child is, and it's so boring and tedious. We said this on the show before, where's Alfie? Do you know what? I don't care what Alfie is. If he's not there, I'm assuming he's not dead. I think it's fine. You don't need to give me an alibi every time, which is what I can see this turning into.
Yeah.
So Alina's got to die, I'm afraid.
Although maybe she can just take Doran for a bit and then he can come back.
The thing is about it also, don't forget, Michael, is that if Alina does go back to Romania with Doran, Tyrone will be sad for a day and then we'll forget it ever happened and it will not get mentioned again, and it will be it's back to square one and it will be over and done with.
Maybe that is the easy solution. That he will have a long distance.
He'll just cry. It will be just like Sean with Dylan.
Yeah.
He'll scream "my son" and then never talk about him again.
Yeah, maybe that's... Maybe I'm just kind of still besotted with how cute Doran is.
I know,
but
don't want to lose him.
Maybe
he's a star. He can only burn brightly for a short amount of time,
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he'll become wearing if he's in it all the time going, look at this pair! Right, anyway. So, this is when Evelyn reminds him about, his priorities. So Tyrone goes back to see Fizz and he says, look, I know Hope is sad and I'm not going to neglect her. I'm going to prove to everybody how much I love them in this family. Then we see Alina in the room. She's getting ready for some kind of trial thing.
Hotel room.
Yeah, this hotel room, sorry. And then this guy, the goon that was at the hotel bar yesterday, comes barging in. And Ronnie is just there. Don't know why it couldn't have been Ed, because he's actually got a reason to be hanging around the hotel.
I think probably Goon could have taken Ed, but the fact that you got Ronnie coming in, sort of bursting out of his shirt, that seemed more believable that he was able to get one over this guy.
But you could have had Ed with his toolkit. I'm gonna hammer you in the face.
I'm gonna go Katie Harris on your ass with this wrench.
I'm gonna adjust your lug nuts. So they have a fight. He comes in, rescues her, sends the guy on his way. Don't know why Ronnie was involved in this. Is it interesting whether he's gonna be involved at any other point or if he's just convenient?
I think he was just
pair
convenient
of muscles
hand, so convenient heavy.
She's like, the trafficker's gonna keep coming after me. So then Fizz, Doran, Tyrone and Evelyn are in the precinct. He gets a call telling him about what's happened. They need to get Doran home because he could be in danger. And so frantic Alina arrives at the house going, I've got to leave Doran here. I've got to go into hiding. This is like, oh no.
I didn't see this happening.
What? No, this was weird.
This is desperate measures.
This is odd because Alina's like, I have to leave Doran here. I'm in danger. I must let go. But what isn't Doran in danger? They know you've got a child. They're not stupid. They've watched you with him. Wouldn't you just go after the child? Is that not what's going to happen next week?
I think they're really hoping that they don't know where Doran is. But if this guy's been spying on her and following
just follow her home.
She went round the back way,
I know.
and that's supposed to be enough to throw them off the scent.
Yeah, apparently.
But Fizz says this towards the end of the episode, doesn't she? She's like, Tyrone, we've now got a target on our back. So we're looking, and I feel so sorry for Fizz when
like, what is going on here?
When they agreed, well, okay, we'll have to look after him, but
well, you can't say no, can you?
I think that, I don't know, Alina was... I know she said she was doing it to protect Doran, but it was a bit of a...
Do you think it's all a ruse? She thinks she's just putting this on so that she can go off on holiday.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, the men are after me. I have to go to Ibiza.
You know any good hotels, Ryan? No, I think to leave... And I know Tyrone's Doran's dad, but to leave your child, who you've had for 3 years, in the hands of somebody that's barely known him for a week...
I would trust... If I was going to trust leaving a child with any random person on the street, Fizz and Tyrone are a very good shout. I can't think of anyone better.
I suppose it's not the ideal situation. She'd rather have Doran with herself, but needs must.
The way that she looked at Tyrone when he was playing with Doran earlier in the week, it's like she could trust him completely. And Doran's like so chill. He's like, bye.
Yeah, he doesn't care, does he?
I don't think so. He'll probably be like,
he's
where's
got a whole
mum?
bowl of plastic fruit to play with. So right. Ruby's chuffed with this development.
Well, hang on.
Clearly not.
They kind of agree, and she's like, it's only been for a week or two, and then she gives Fizz a big hug, which I thought was interesting, because it was Tyrone that said okay, but she ran and hugged Fizz. Like, she didn't hug Tyrone. I thought that was interesting, because she must know that would really annoy Fizz if she hugged Tyrone.
I think, I think that she also is sympathetic to Fizz. She knows that this is really, really tough for Fizz. She's grown somewhat in maturity since her exploding car quote on the wall days.
She's not stupid. She understands what she's done to Fizz.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so Fizz is like, this is a bad idea. And then they tell the girls about this, and like you said, Ruby's excited and Hope's like, this is crap, what are you doing? And then Evelyn sends them to the shops so they can talk about what's actually happening, and Evelyn's like, man, Fizz, this sucks for you. Basically.
So Alina has said that it'll only be a week or so until these guys are behind bars. I mean, from what we've seen in Coronation Street and other dramas before, just because you're behind bars, it doesn't mean that your goons are not free to go intimidating whoever they want.
This goon wasn't any of the traffickers. He's just a goon, and he's still on the loose.
Yeah.
So
then equally, if the people who are paying for him to rough up Alina are in prison, then he doesn't have any grudge with her, does he?
Joke's on you! I do this for free.
I do this for fun. I hope that this goon side of the story is actually over, because I'm really, really loving the family drama. I love Fizz and Tyrone as a couple. I think Hope's been brilliant during this. I've actually really enjoyed seeing Alina back, which I wasn't sure about whether I would or not. Doran's obviously adorable. The one downside for this whole thing is the spectre of traffickers and gangs, and I just could be doing without that, to be honest. I wasn't particularly excited by Alina getting roughed up by the goon today. But yeah, it's given her a reason to disappear off. And I don't know whether this is the last that we're seeing of Alina. I don't know how long Rixandra was back on Coronation Street. I know that she put there was something on her social media this week, which was a day in the life at Corrie, but that could very well have been something that was filmed, 8 weeks ago when these film scenes were filmed. Maybe we've seen the last of her. I honestly 100% don't know. We will have to wait and see.
We'll never know.
Okay, so on to the Toyah storyline. So we get... Toyah and Nick.
What are you up to? What are you doing?
Friday's episode last week was them saying, oh, Leanne's away, but we got to keep our hands off each other. And I knew it. Basically, Monday's episode plays out with them having a nice day, having a good Calippo share in the precinct, saying... Toyah is just besotted with this guy now, isn't she? She's giving him looks and saying, oh, I'm so happy that I'm with you, Nick. And I'm sure that the vast swathes of Toyah and Nick shippers out there are going, yeah, this is wonderful. Leanne, don't come back. But I just can't. Toyah almost looks like she's gonna have a bone to pick with Nick when she discovers that David knows about their sordid little affair, when he kind of makes a joke about him and about Nick and Toyah always bumping into each other, but Toyah kind of forgives Nick by the end of it, and he's like saying, "Oh, Toyah, I feel so strongly about you, I can't stop thinking about you," and Toyah's like, "Oh, I had such a nice day today." And then she's the one that goes in for a kiss on the lips. All this time, my girl Toyah, I was thinking, well, at least she's saying the right thing. I don't want to,
ruin
the relationship with my sister. We need to keep each other at arm's length. I knew that she still didn't want that to happen, but at least she was trying. But she's the one that goes in for the kiss.
It's love.
At the end of the episode.
It's love.
I can't. I don't like it.
By Friday's episode, she's like, "Oh yeah, me and Nick are like boyfriend and girlfriend now. Leanne, who I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, and she's coming back on Monday.
I
know. Well, at the end of Wednesday's episode, sorry to skip ahead a bit, but it's basically they go to the hospital and she gets the all clear. But the end
of all clear to shag.
Yeah, it's all over. There's my inappropriate joke there. So yeah, they have a nice meal together at the end of the episode, and Toyah's like, "Oh, you know what? Let's just live in the moment. Let's go scene by scene here, and
let's not look
worry
at the script.
about Leanne when she gets back." But seriously, what is she going to do?
No. Okay, so Toyah was looking death in the face, right? She thought she was. God knows what she thought was going to happen. The possibilities were grim. And now she's got a new lease of life and she's thinking anything's possible now. I could be happy. I haven't been happy for a long time. And here I am with this guy who's now the love of my life again. I've been through Imran and Spider. You better not betray me, Nick, because I will drive him into a wall. And I know that he's damaged by the first time he got driven into by a lorry, so this could finish him off.
I really the sad thing is, as much as I despise the idea of this coupling, I think that Georgia and Ben are doing a really, really good job of.
They just look really in love, don't they?
They do. They do. They look like
Toyah looks the happiest
very
she's
content
been
with each other
for like a good year or more. Really? Do you not think?
But she was.
She's happy with Spider, but...
She was so happy with Spider.
Okay, well, she's happy now. And
she was mega happy with Imran. Is Nick... Is Nick going to do a little jig outside of a speed dial for her like Imran did? No. Is Nick going to throw her down and Roger her senseless on the desk like Imran did?
I don't know if that's
she's settling for third best here.
But there's only three.
Spider was brilliant. They were childhood sweethearts. This has just come out of nowhere.
Toyah's happy. Leave her alone.
Oh, I just hate it. I hate this so much.
I can't blame her because she's...
There's plenty of fantastic guys out there. I don't know who.
Joel?
So tell you what could be worse than this. Toyah getting off with Adam.
That's what I literally was about to say, Adam.
Well, yeah.
Toyah and Adam.
She did go for that snog with him that time, didn't she?
Oh my God.
And
They've
he's
all
a free
kissed
agent
everybody.
at the moment. Everybody's kissed Adam.
What about Toyah and... Can you... The worst possible two men...
Toyah and Bobby.
Toyah and Steve.
Toyah and Steve McDonald.
Or Toyah and Tim. Can you imagine that?
Well,
at least you can see Nick and Toyah together. You're like, yeah,
I can see them together. That's the worst.
There were so many characters on this street that they could put her with. That I'm sure there was they had them all in the bag when they pulled this idea out.
The thing with Nick and Toyah, that they are kind of suited to each other.
Toyah and Craig.
Because they're just kind of a little bit dull, aren't they?
They're sensible.
They're sensible. They're a little bit sensible.
Maybe
they fit. But
they know what an ISA is.
Yeah. But then you add Spider, who was just this little bit kooky, and he brought out the protester in her, and that enhanced her in a brilliant way. And Imran was a lot of fun.
Imran was a cheeky guy.
And again, brought out something out of Toyah.
Randy.
But I can just see Nick and Toyah settling in, and she's doing her knitting and he's doing his Sudoku together.
And they're going, should we do something crazy? Should we do something a bit crazy? Shall we
Go and have a walk in the woods.
No, shall we get a pizza but not even look at the discount? Just not even bother looking for a discount. Just pay £30 for just a normal pizza. Should we do it? Go on.
These two almost feel a bit like a couple that when the characters are leaving the street will say, let's put them together because they're gonna have a lovely boring, safe and sensible life together, these two, aren't they?
Yeah.
But that's not what I want for my girl Toyah. And at the end of the day, I'm saying everybody, literally, I don't think anybody agrees with me on this. Everyone's saying, oh yeah, Nick's not happy with Leanne, but he is. He could be. When he was saying to Leanne last week, oh yeah, I do love you actually, and Leanne was saying, oh, you know what, I really feel content with you at the moment, Nick. They could 100% be a great couple. Sure, they're not perfect, but who is on Coronation Street? And she's going to come back from seeing Simon next week. It's going to be all secret again. And the longer it takes for this to come out, the bigger the fallout's going to be. I dread the massive fallout that's going to happen between Toyah and Leanne. They are better when they're a united front. Don't you think? Toyah and Leanne, better be sisters united. I don't want anything, no man, no nothing, to get in the way of that. And I can't see any other outcome other than this exploding spectacularly.
This is going to screw up their relationship, for sure.
And how do you come back from it? A realistic way, do you come back from it? Because I can see they can come back from it because everybody
forgets everything.
Everyone, just skipping ahead to the Craig and Beth storyline today. You've had a couple of weeks on and off of Craig going, I'm not talking to you, Mum, and Beth going, oh, Craigie, I'm sorry, Craigie, and then come and sit with me in the Rovers in the booth today. I'm not sitting with you, Mum, and then they have a little quiet talk which we hear nothing of, and then Kirk comes back in again later. It's we're made up now. Yeah, all of that was nothing. I've forgiven her. What was the point of falling out then? And so I can totally see if this goes on being a massive fallout, and then eventually one day Leanne will just say, oh, you know what, I forgive you, Toyah. But that's not satisfactory storytelling for me. I know, I just hate that I'm on my own with this as well.
Well, some people are saying that Toyah and Nick are boring, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but they're still saying that they work as a couple.
Right, one thing I will say, the only critique I'll give of the fact that a lot of people are saying, I actually prefer Nick and Toyah, blah, blah, blah. Yes, because Coronation Street's putting them together and giving them nice scenes where they're lovely to each other and they talk about how much they love each other and you believe it because they're both great actors and they're really selling it. Corrie could do that.
They're really doing a good job of selling it.
Corrie could do that with any couple they wanted, but they just choose not to. And they certainly haven't done it with Nick and Leanne. And the point of Leanne and Nick at the moment is that she's being deliberately pulled away from her relationships by a cult.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to look better together as a couple because Corrie's working it. And also, they're making Nick and Leanne on shaky ground. Doesn't mean that they're all destined for this to carry on forever. Mm. But Toyah definitely needs something to do that isn't getting cancer and falling in love with her sister's
Ever
husband.
Since she was revealed as the murderer of Imran, who's walked free somehow, she had been completely underused. She would turn up at the bistro every now and then, but that was about it. So she does need something to do with this, isn't it? Tell you what I think that she could do, because it's feeling like things aren't too great for Tracy and her new man. I say Toyah and Tommy Orpington, because she did go over to him. And she had one scene with him earlier this year.
I'd like to climb that hole.
That's enough. What on earth?
Well, she seemed to admire his tallness.
Oh yeah. That could work. I don't know.
That's enough now. What happens on Friday?
I just can't wait for Leanne to get back because I'm so on team Leanne with this. It's crazy, and I love all the Institute stuff. So basically, Friday is Rowan deciding to hone in on Amy because he's not given up on her yet. It feels, Leanne's already said that she's not investing in the resource centre and he needs the money. So he's got no other options, supposedly, at the moment, other than to try again with Amy. And it just so happens that he catches her on a day when she's feeling particularly cranky and peed off with all the work that she's having to do, not only at the bistro, but also for her mum at the florist, and just listening to her mum and her tales of adventure over in España. So when she
it doesn't help that Toyah and Nick come back from lunch and they're clearly
they had a loved up lunch together.
And
they've been quite brazen about what a lovely lunchtime they had
Toyah was
together.
Going, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't say anything. And then they're like, so what's been going on here then? And Amy's like, I've been working my arse off to make you money and you're swanning in here acting like no big deal. I quit. You take advantage of me, I quit.
Yeah, so Rowan hones right in on this when he finds out about it. I liked that we got a little bit of something between Rowan and Tracy.
Oh, God,
That's great that Tracy's back, but she could make quite a formidable opponent for Rowan.
If Rowan ends this story by being beaten to death by Tracy, I think that would be quite fun.
Anyway, Tracy doesn't stay around long, does she? But
she goes for a waz.
She does go for a waz, doesn't she? Yeah. She's not going to... She doesn't know that much about the Institute yet, does she? She's not going to be happy to hear that Amy is... Well, now she has a... No, she's not agreed yet to give Deirdre's money to Rowan, has she? Because he suggested that she has an upload session. I'm like, brilliant.
What's it gonna be? I want to see it, please.
It's felt somewhat cack-handed. I'm going to say Amy's involvement in this all the way. I'm still not sure whether I buy Amy falling for this, and she's not been enough in the story. It's just kind of convenient plot-wise that she's fallen in with the Institute. If you told me
this was written for someone else, I would have believed you.
This could be anyone at the moment. Well, I liked last week when Ardy was getting involved and saying, Amy, do you know what you're investing in here? But that might have just as well been erased this week because now she's like, oh, completely forgotten about this. Yeah, but why not? I'll give you my money.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I feel like Amy kind of needs somebody else to talk to about it or to... Because she's also been very underused, hasn't she? And I'm wondering what's going to happen in this upload session on Monday. Was the whole thing with drugging that guy almost a year ago now, is that going to be what she uploads to Rowan next week?
I don't know, but I'd love it if that happened.
Because the whole idea of the upload session is to confess your sins. And with Leanne, like, Rowan thinks all his Christmases that come at once. He's like, I've run out of paper to write all this down on.
Yeah, stop a second.
But I don't think Amy does have quite so many misdemeanours in her past to confess. But this one last year, which felt big at the time, that episode in the club was amazing. And then there's the follow-up episode with her and Swain, and then it just completely gets dropped. And now I'm thinking, was that put in there because they didn't want it to be a story, or they didn't have room to make it into a story, but they were looking ahead, knowing that she had to confess, she would need to confess something to upload something this year. Because what else has Amy done? Is she going to say, oh, remember that time when I tried to make everybody think that Eccles had bitten me because I wanted to get her put down?
Remember that time I pretended I could see ghosts?
Yeah, exactly. She hasn't got as much to draw from.
Simon in a cupboard.
Do you remember that time that I allowed a swear word to go live on my radio show? Oh, I forgot to turn up at my radio show, by the way. They're probably wondering where I am.
I'm probably fired.
Whatever it is, if it's anything like Leanne's upload session, which was Jane Danson at her finest, it's gonna be quite spectacular. And then you know what comes after an upload session in the Institute is a load of people shouting at you in a circle.
Brilliant.
So it feels like Amy's being fast tracked a little bit through this.
Do you think Leanne will be jealous?
Well, yeah, I wonder whether... she's head over heels with Rowan, not in an in-love way, but she's looking up to him and idolising Rowan at the moment. And if Rowan's kind of saying, well, I'm putting all my eggs in Amy's basket now, maybe Leanne's going to start thinking, oh, I thought I was his golden child.
Well, maybe you should have invested.
I mean, are we to believe at the moment that there are Leannes all around the country? And
Rowan's just stringing them all along.
Yeah, I mean, he often just happens to be round the corner somewhere in Weatherfield, so it feels like he's not travelling too much. But
I know.
I'm just so loving certain aspects of this storyline. And again, I think it feels like I'm in the minority here because I'm looking online and not everybody's enjoying the Institute storyline, and lots of people are saying it's a bit silly. So I'm sorry if there's a lot of listeners that are just disagreeing with every single thing that I'm saying. We
shouldn't apologise for our opinions. Everyone's allowed to have their own, aren't they?
It's just so brilliantly nuts, honestly. I'm kind of at a stage where I wouldn't be too sad if it ended, because Rowan's been in the Institute stories in general. March, April, May, June, July. This has been going 6 months now.
I know, but it's not.
This story.
I really feel like...
And I feel like I've had enough. I feel satisfied, you know?
I know, but I want it to end in a bombastic way, and I don't see how it can. Like... Is it going to end in a comedy way? Is it going to end in a sinister, scary way? Is Rowan going to snap and show his true form? Because really, again, I'm going to say this. I don't think
it sounds like he's like a secret boss, and here's my final phase.
Yeah, exactly. My hearts are refilled. You're going to have to do it all over again. But he still hasn't really done anything bad.
Sorry, you keep saying this. He's taken advantage of people's good natures. He's secretly recording them, confessing crimes.
He's not secret.
Yes, he is. And he's manipulative. He's manipulating them and exploiting them for massive wads of cash as this resource centre, which I don't even know whether he is wants to exist.
If the resource centre isn't real and he is basically just trying to get them to give him money so he can run off somewhere, then that's fine. But none of the things you said are really illegal. They're not.
It's still taking advantage of people's good nature,
I know,
illegal or not.
But that's so what? It's not. I think my point is, like, he's not. It's not like he's Joel level here.
No. Yeah. No.
So, what do you mean? You have to think about it. Joel tried to kill a baby. This guy's just like, hey, I know the secret to eternal happiness, and they're like, by God, you do. I'm happy. He's like, well, would you like to give me money for it? Actually, yeah, I would. I mean, really, what's so bad about that?
Leanne has made some advance. You know, she started off this story in a fairly, not too bad a place, but I think that some of her experience at the Institute has helped her through and understand her grief in a weird way some ways, but, you know... Yeah, she's feeling more positive and she's a happier person now than she was before.
I mean,
so
he's just giving people therapy and asking them for money for it and doing AIs of dead children. That's not illegal, that's just weird. Being weird's not illegal, it's basically a national pastime.
Anyway, as I was saying...
So what I'm saying, where's this going? Because... is it just going to be a silly kind of caper where Rowan's kind of like, yoinks, oh my God? Or
I think that the last scene that we see of Rowan is going to be him getting led off in handcuffs.
Yeah, probably.
And Leanne going, seeing the light.
Maybe.
Who do you think needs to take him down? Leanne or Toyah or Nick or Amy?
Swain's like, I don't have time for this. There's other things going on here.
Why am I we need more Joel scenes?
Somebody for
no, who do you think deserves to take him down more?
Leanne's going to see the light somehow, but I kind of want him to like, as he's being led out in handcuffs, to have a simulation of like the shame circle of all the people in the Institute going, you're a fraud, you're a liar, you're a trickster.
Yeah, not that there are many people.
Is that not poetic?
Yeah, totally.
Do you think of something then?
No. I'm trying to think.
Well, I mean, what's it going to be? It's not going to be some kind of like, I've kidnapped Leanne and I'm going to throw her in a bush.
No, it doesn't feel like that fits his character. She just needs... I wonder whether she's going to see... Because like the higher levels that you get, and you know, she was promised an upgrade from level 6 to level 8 a couple of weeks ago. At some point, she's going to have to start being a little bit manipulative and sly, and she's going to kind of realise... Hang on a minute, this is wrong what we're doing. Yeah, maybe she's going to see what he does to Amy.
Maybe Rowan's going to be like, look, you just say this. It doesn't have to be true. As long as people believe it, it makes them happy. And she'll be like, hang on, I thought that this was all real. And he'll be like, look, some of it's real, some of it isn't real. It doesn't matter as long as it helps you. And she'll be like, don't know about that.
Do you think that if she finds out about the picture of Nick and Toyah together, is that going to be enough to make her see what a nasty piece of work he is because he was holding on to a blackmail, or would she see that that's perfectly fine to do because
that's got
Nick
to come
and
out
Toyah
first,
were in the wrong?
It's got
to come out.
Maybe Toyah and Nick can be like, no, that's AI. Oh.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, yeah, it must be.
If you can make an AI Ollie and deep fake videos of Abby, you can certainly Photoshop those two together. But it's going to come out. It's going to come out.
Yeah, but it's going to come out before Rowan's downfall. And then what will Leanne be left with? A broken life, no son.
Well, she's got Simon. Not Simon, she's got Sam.
But she had Ollie. When Rowan goes, he's taking Ollie. Leanne has to, really, for this to be a happy ending for Leanne, she has to be like, I'm going to let Ollie go. Ollie's not here. Ollie's gone. I kind of want it to be a triumphant moment for Leanne to sort of realise, actually, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take Rowan down because he's lied to me. And then I'll worry about Toyah and Nick.
Feel sorry for poor Sam in all this as well.
I know.
Because, if Leanne and Nick split up over this, which is looking highly likely, then he loses one of the two kind of parental figures that he's got in his life.
I know.
Is Leanne going to take Sam and then steal him away like she did with Simon?
I collect children.
Children that aren't actually my flesh and blood.
The thing about, you were moaning about Toyah and Nick. The thing about, at the end of this, is if, say, Nick and Toyah decide we're going to stay together, Leanne, sorry, but you're out on your ear. Number one, where is Leanne going to live? Because she's never lived anywhere apart from there. Number two, all that will happen with this relationship that people seem to really like between Nick and Toyah is we'll never see them again doing anything as a couple. They'll just not be.
Yeah,
just
Corey
not
has
have
got
any
a
more
real
scenes.
habit of saying, right, they're together now.
Yeah, let's show this because they're cheating on somebody.
Yeah.
Or we're trying to get you to be invested in this, and now we just don't care.
Next time you see them, they'll be breaking up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing I think, because it's nice to see Toyah happy.
Yeah. Speaking of breaking up, we got the Beth storyline, which is basically just working its way towards Kirk.
Disaster.
So Beth's got a job did they say what the job interview even was? I don't know whether I missed it.
I thought it was product manager.
Was it?
At the local cake designing factory.
Oh, there we go. She's got a job interview on Wednesday, and it doesn't go well.
Oh no.
Just to cut a long story short there. Fizz is kind of talking to Kirk in the cafe and saying, why did Beth leave the factory? And he's just saying, well, just had enough of it, that's all. But he seems to look like, oh yeah, maybe that doesn't completely make sense. It doesn't
feel like something. It feels like something happened.
And then we had a few more scenes of Craig and should I forgive Beth or not, and Kit saying no, you shouldn't. Beth was bang out of order for what she did with that counterfeit, and she's so selfish. She had her back against the wall and chose herself. So he's kind of dripping in the poison there. But
Kit's projecting a lot here about his own mum, and sort of saying, these women, you can't trust them. These mums, they turned their back on you. You're like me, And also, I think he's getting a bit of sick satisfaction out of watching
someone else having mummy issues.
Ruining someone else's family life. Like, I can't have my mum's dead, my real mum's a cow. My biological mum's a cow.
Yeah, but he's kind of made up with her.
Yeah, he hasn't really though, but he's like, I want to see somebody suffer. I want to see a mum suffer who's done wrong to her kid, and I'm going to make this happen for me so I can watch Beth's life implode. He's so sadistic.
Yeah.
I love him.
We had I'm overthinking Craig is being incredibly petty during this. This reminds me, this is basically exactly the same as when Craig found out that she'd been keeping it a secret that she was still married to Daryl. Do you remember? Because Beth and Craig used to be this lovely very, very tight mum and son relationship, and then he finds out that he didn't divorce his dad, and then he just sends her to Coventry for a couple of months, and is just like being, oh no, I'm not going to talk to you, mum. You've
Yeah, but to be fair, that makes sense from the perspective of, although Craig seems like a nice guy, he is still Beth's son, and Beth's a petty cow, and I'm sure he's picked up some of her attitude to life. So the fact that he's like, I'm just not going to talk to you over some mistake that you've made is totally believable.
But it just doesn't make him look good, does it? All week this week, and Beth was saying, "Oh, come on, look, just forgive me." And he's like, no, I'm not going to talk to you. Craig's been on
a bit of a downward trajectory as far as likeability is concerned since he became a copper.
Yeah, this is not helping.
I don't think it's because he became a copper. I just think that was when it began.
Mm. Well, anyway, like I said earlier, they make up in today's episode. So we don't know what exactly they say when they're sitting there in the booth in the Rovers, but they're friends by the end of it. And Craig thinks that as honesty is the best policy now, maybe Kirk needs to find out exactly what Beth had done to cause this fallout that we had. So he says, yeah, well, Kirk, thing is, your mum was making counterfeit t-shirts. You know, she said that she was doing these charity soup kitchens in the evening while she was actually slaving away in Underworld, sewing labels onto t-shirts, and Kirk gets...
Well, she says, I did it for you because I wanted to have a nice wedding.
Yeah, and Kirk's reaction to this, it just didn't feel Kirk to me. He gets... offended and saying, what, you were lying to me all this time? I could have got in trouble because you made me take those t-shirts.
Yeah.
And I get it, but Kirk is not the character that can deliver that kind of serious, I'm so disappointed line and me take him seriously.
I know what you mean.
And he's had a lot to deal with because last year there was the whole Marco issue, so they had a split up then. But any kind of serious relationship drama, because Kirk has only been portrayed as, you know, nothing but the village idiot for the past 10, 15 years, as soon as he's like this, like, it screeched the brakes on, like, what's going on here? It's like I don't buy it.
Having some kind of emotional maturity and heart-to-heart from Kirk is like if your dog suddenly went, we need to talk about the heating bill.
He sometimes is given the job of giving sage advice in a funny Kirkish way. Like, he'll sometimes sit down with Maria and say, oh, so your son's getting bullied, is he?
But yeah, but it's like a folksy kind of, common sense kind of...
Yeah.
This is too emotional for Kirk.
It really is. I think
I do think it's consistent with him though, because he doesn't like lying. He doesn't like her criminal stuff.
But like Craig, he's generally a nice kind of guy, and I would think that he would forgive her.
Who, Craig?
No, Kirk. I think there's only so many times you can push somebody before they start to think. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to be too down on Kirk because he did provide some of the best comedy moments in tonight's episode. Just putting him in a room with Paul. That was brilliant. What was he banging on about in the beginning of the episode? I can't remember, but he's literally nearly bores Paul to death. At the end of the episode by telling him about his relationship woes. Peter Ash, again, brilliant. Like, the look in his eyes, like, I'm trapped in my own body here. I've never wanted so much to be able to just jump up and run out the door.
I know. The beginning scene where he's sat in a chair and he's like, his eyes are darting all over the place while Kirk drones on about whatever. I thought... This is actually the kind of humour that Shelley would think was brilliant because it's really dark... But it's not cruel or making fun of Paul.
No, it was really funny.
I thought this was kind of a brave joke to make because it was just because he has MND, he can't get away from this. It wasn't sad. It wasn't tragic. It was just a kind of funny reality of like, I have to listen to this crap. I can't get away. I kind of thought I like that because I also think it's the sort of thing that maybe... It might be relatable. I don't know.
Maybe.
I thought it was a brave joke to make, a sort of bad taste sort of thing.
Yeah, and at the end of it, he's asleep, isn't he? And Kirk goes over there, thinks he was dead. That was great.
That's the kind of joke that we would make and then feel bad about. Yeah. I liked that they did it.
Yeah, I very much.
It felt like the sort. I'm sure that people are going to complain about it and say it's. Well, I don't know. Some people love it. It
fits the tone of the Paul story.
I know, it really is such a great story. Even those just two silly scenes were humanising.
I'm ready for there to be more Paul and Billy stuff. I hope it's not too long until we get a little bit more. But, time is absolutely running out for Paul now. And I think it's going to be quite possible that the next filming block is his last.
You keep saying that.
I know I do.
One thing I really liked this week and the last week, I think a little bit of it was last week, but I'm not sure. It's just Paul worrying about
Dee-Dee. You didn't even watch it last week. What do you mean? Paul worrying about... Oh, no, there were a few bits today. Yeah, there were some lovely bits today when Dee-Dee came to Paul and she was...
And she's like, I'm still your friend and I still care about you. And he just wants everyone... I think he really wants to leave everyone happy.
Yeah, because she lies to him that everything's okay.
Oh.
And he knows. But then we don't get any more
I just love how sweet he is.
Mm.
Right,
final, you just had a bit more Tracy and Cassie stuff. There wasn't a whole lot, was there? Not much about Ken's money.
They're butting heads. Cassie's telling her that she's not wanted here. Maybe she's not wanted in Spain either. And Steve and Tracy sit down and she says, look, I like Tommy and everything, but I'm so bored of football and I don't have anything to do in Spain. I'm just left alone in this big house and nothing to do. And all my friends are here. And she says, I don't like most of them, but they're here.
Yeah, that was
great. She's like, I'm here to figure out what I'm going to do next. And Cassie sees Tracy's had a bunch of mixed messages from Tommy. So I think we're not seeing any more of Tommy.
Well, we thought that before, and then he showed up for the bus stop.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
didn't they? I wouldn't mind too much if we don't see him again. This is clearly Tracy's reintegration back into the street, but it's whether or not she ends up sticking with Steve or not when there's Cassie that's also sniffing around him. I was a bit sad that we didn't get a whole lot of that story. I'm enjoying the butting heads between Tracy and Cassie, but I think there's only so much of it that we can get before.
I didn't think it was as snappy as I wanted it to be.
No, I get that as well. It kind of felt like... well, of course, we've got to have them
butting heads.
But
the rest of Mondays was so great, I didn't really care at the end of the day.
No, exactly. So, not a bad week. I was disappointed that the quality of Mondays didn't stick, in my opinion, for the whole of the week.
But when we did our street talk, what's it called? Where we do our YouTube thing and we say...
Street Talk Shorts.
Yeah, Street Talk Shorts. And then we post it on Twitter and we say, what did you think? Vote for it. And some people might not know this if they don't follow us on YouTube or social media. But yeah, almost every episode we'll just do a summary of what happened and say what we thought, whether it is bog standard, banging, or bobbins. And we all both said it was banging. And then on the poll, 90% voted banging too, which means that episode was probably one of the highest scoring episodes in a very long time.
Yeah.
So was like, was that a 5 out of 5? It was close. It was close to a 5 out of 5.
Well,
it was so good. I was just delighted. I just love messy drama so much. That was great.
Even though it went downhill after that, there was an awful lot of Dee-Dee still to like on Wednesday.
Dee-Dee's great.
And I think I was just a little bit disappointed that Joel's managed to wriggle off the hook again. But Dee-Dee, being smart about getting the phone app on his phone.
Dee-Dee is one of these people who is playing the long game.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her heart.
So that the Alina stuff's been fine. I could have done without the goon in today's episode. Good news that Toyah is all in the clear.
The goon is so typical of my life. I didn't want to be a goon. I wanted to be a footballer.
I am going to give this week's Coronation Street 4 impolite kicks in Brian's dry roasted out of 5. Character of the week. I can't just make it Doran every week because that's ridiculous. So I think I'm going to give it to Dee-Dee this week because she's just been absolutely fab finding out the truth, piecing it all together. Shanique has been putting in some brilliant performances again. And as much as Joel is holding his own and desperately kicking and managing to stay afloat, Dee-Dee is quite a force to be reckoned with, and I'm enjoying watching that quite a lot. So Dee-Dee is my character of the week. What about you?
I think that although I wouldn't really rate the rest of the week, Mondays was so good, I'm going to give this week 4.5.
Wow!
Plastic pears. for my good friend Doran, I'm going to give the character of the week to Joel because I just love him so much. He's so great. I'm just so thrilled with this. I don't know whether I would be quite as thrilled if I didn't hate and find Joel so boring last year. Oh, it's so fun. So fun thinking about how much I slated him, but secretly wanted him to be evil, and it turned out that he was. Oh, I just love it so much. I'm so happy. Coronation Street's given me such a great gift this year in Joel. So he's got to be my character of the week.
Fair enough. Right. That is this week's Street Talk over and done.
So happy. Oh my God, I love it so much.